Good morning. It's the 21st of April. This is the Godfather of Los Ingobernables, the podcast. TakersMinion joining you this morning for another edition of Shootin' the Breeze. Yes, we're back and better than ever. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host and friend, Mr. Dr. Senju. Greetings to you, sir.
Hello, good evening. Happy Sunday on my end. Happy Saturday on those people who still are stuck in Saturdays. How are you today, good sir?
I am doing well. I am
hmm
doing quite well.
hmm
It is sad. It's been a sad week.
It
If
has.
you think about everybody that's passed away since last Saturday.
Well, yeah. Even sadder for me. I think it's not sadder for me for tonight. It's more a lethargic thing. For me, I think Sal already did his whole 5 minute Twitter rage moment, where he's complaining about something that happened tonight. I found out why. Yeah, okay. Liverpool drew with West Brom, 2-2. So
With
I think
who?
that's West Brom, West
Oh,
Bromwich Albion. They drew. I don't. Uh, I don't really mind the draw. I mean, I expected it to have been come to the wire because one big factor is that West Brom has nothing to lose and they wanted to fight to avoid relegation. But I think even with a draw, they'll still face relegation. Uh,
okay.
as a fan, I'm disappointed that we drew. We should have been winning because we're up 2-0 and then suddenly found ourselves drawing, sharing the points, doing the spoils of war. So
Oh,
uh,
poor babies.
poor babies. But I'm a big guy. I can take the defeat chin with on the chin.
I've
Uh,
learned how to take defeat when it comes to
at least
English
at least
Premier Soccer because remember who my team is.
well at least West Ham was I think West Ham won last week. So
Yes, they
there's
did.
that. Yeah. So that's a happy
Yes, they
medium
did.
on your side. Mine, I think at least we didn't lose. Just disappointed that we had a 2 goal lead and then suddenly find that we had to share the spoils for the day. So a point each. Draw in West Bromwich Albion's ground. So there's that. I don't mind the draw. I hope that we win, but at least we didn't lose. So
No, you didn't. So you got nothing to bitch about.
nope, nothing. Someone did, but that someone is a more passionate fan than I am. I'm already a good fan. That's one sad. That's one compounding sadness for me for tonight.
Oh, please. Jesus. You Liverpool fans are unbearable.
I mean, at least I'm not going to say that next year will be my year. Next year will be Liverpool's year to win the season title. I mean, I'm already looking forward to seeing the semifinals of the Champions League. So I'm happy with that.
Oh boy. All right, whatever.
I mean, at least I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. It's supposed to be our win. I mean,
Yeah.
let me dig up what Sal said. I think
No, we don't need to hear what Sal said. The Miz fan and all that. No.
the Miz moved to SmackDown, so you don't have to worry about that. He's definitely happy about bitching.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Daniel Bryan punch his face. Hashtag punch his face.
Okay, here you go. The fuck are we doing? I want some fucking heads to roll. We look fucking terrible today. I understand resting for Roma, but that performance was a joke. We drew with fucking West Bromwich Albion. It was a terrible performance. I was spectator the legendary 12th position. I swear if we don't beat Roma at least 3-0 on Tuesday, I'm gonna call for blood.
Oh God. Anyway,
I already told you.
it was a tough week in the entertainment, political, and wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
We lost both on Saturday. Harry Anderson, the judge that was on Night Court.
Okay.
Arlie Ermy, aka the Gunny, from Full Metal Jacket, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, and
Yeah.
from Mail Call on the History Channel when the History Channel was good.
Mm-hmm.
Those are Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Barbara Bush,
Wife
of President George Herbert Walker Bush,
okay.
passed away. She was 92. And then on Wednesday of this week, we had 3 people pass. Erin Popovich, wife of Greg Popovich, head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. She had been fighting an illness for quite a while that was kept very quiet. No one knew about it. We also lost Bruno after an illness.
Yeah.
Bruno Sammartino. And we lost number 1 Paul Jones from the Mid-Atlantic area. Big guy during the Mid-Atlantic days. Had a long war with Jimmy Boogie Woogie Valiant. Our condolences and thoughts to all families involved. And we take this moment of silence for those.
Sure.
Okay.
Is that why you picked Jimmy Valiant's match for match of the week for Two Guys One Sports Show?
No, it was. I thought it was Jerry Valiant.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was a Dick the Bruiser and Jerry Valiant in a chain match.
I might have listened to that incorrectly then, because I thought it was Jimmy Valiant. So okay.
It was Jerry Valiant, and Jerry Valiant bled like a stuck pig.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It was. I mean, I was shooting a lot of suggestions to one of my friends on Twitter about what she needs to watch. Just shoot her Styles Nakamura NJPW Wrestling Game 10. She already watched that. And then I went to go, okay, try WXW Ilja Dragunov vs. Walter. She did start watch it. She hadn't really finished it, and then go and watch it. But yeah, I digress.
You ought to send her to watch. Excuse me.
Watch what?
Excuse me while I choke myself to death.
Sure.
WWA from Chicago Soldiers Field.
Yep.
1976, I think it is.
Or
75. I can't remember exactly. Cage match, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher versus the Blackjacks with Bobby Heenan.
Oh, that one.
In a cage.
Okay. That one. The one that you mentioned to me about, what, a month or 2 ago, I think?
Yeah.
I believe so, correct? Is I mentioned this to a friend of ours, StinaCat2606 on Twitter. She just asked the question whether what kind of match that she wants we could suggest her to watch. And I just shot Nakamura Styles on the Wrestle Kingdom 10. She said she already watched that. Okay, she found it excellent. WXW Dragunov versus Walter, of course. One of the most physical matches that I've ever seen currently, I think.
No kidding.
No kidding.
That poor guy's chest.
Yep. Because Walter reminded you of what? Dick the Bruiser? Yeah, yes. Himself. Yeah. But yeah, we digress. There's a lot of losses that has happened in the week. I mean, I already talked to you about it. Remember last year where people in the wrestling business seems to die like creepily on a almost weekly basis? Yeah, that's one. And I also mentioned to you that it's kind of like the repeat thing with all the porn actresses passing away on an almost weekly basis as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It's creepy. I understand that it's time, but when we have 4, 5, 6 people who aren't really related to one another, but actually gave a huge impact in our social life, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well, you look at what the people I named today.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Anderson, very, very obscure actor at one point.
Yep,
became big when he did Night Court.
Oh yeah,
as a judge, he was a judge on Night Court.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to say. R. Lee Ermey has done a few movies. He was a drill instructor in The Boys in Company C. But what made him the movie that made him famous was Full Metal Jacket as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Oh yes.
And I mean, Jesus. I watched that movie and I sat there during the first half of that movie and I sat there and laughed. I myself, being a former Marine, the physical stuff that they did in the movie didn't happen when I was in boot camp. But the verbal was identical, and I was sitting there laughing about it. Going, yeah, I remember that shit.
I mean, I think in terms of pop culture references, he's the prototypical gunny sergeant that we see, or the prototypical drill sergeant that we see in boot camp. I think he's the one who started that.
Marine Corps is drill instructor.
Okay, drill instructor.
Drill sergeant is Army, goddammit.
Okay, fine.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And any Marine Corps drill instructor will tell you that.
All right, okay. So drill instructor. I think he's the one who put the prototypical image of that kind of instructor in any kind of army, especially in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I met the man.
Oh, really?
Yep.
When?
1986, before he did Full Metal Jacket.
Oh,
before Full Metal Jacket was released.
Oh yeah, I think that was after he got. I think years after he got out from service.
Oh, he got out in 1970. He went from 1962 to 1971. He was medically retired.
Ah, okay.
If memory serves me correct, and was given the promotion to gunnery sergeant after Full Metal Jacket. And I mean, you want to know something really funny about it?
Sure.
He initially was going to be a technical advisor.
Oh yeah, I read that.
And he came in and basically took the part from someone else.
Yeah, he did. I think the story is that the director of Full Metal Jacket,
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, he changed his mind after Ermi put together an instructional tape, in the contents of it, in which he went on an extended tirade, just yelling towards several extras, and that tape alone convinced Kubrick that he was the right man for the role.
Yep.
So,
and he could cuss for 5 minutes without repeating himself.
Yeah, and and to those of you film buffs who are listening, a notable rarity in a Kubrick film is that usually Kubrick never lets people write their own stuff. For Ermi himself, Kubrick lets him write his own stuff. He can write or edit his own dialogue and improvise on the set. That's a rarity in and of itself.
Most of his lines in that movie were ad-libbed.
Yeah. Most of it were not stuff written by Kubrick. It was written by Ermi himself, or it was improvised by Ermi himself. And that performance alone in Full Metal Jacket earned him a Golden Globe Award as a supporting actor.
Nomination. He did not get the award. He didn't get the nomination.
Oh yeah. He was nominated. Yeah, got that. But yeah, I think that made him there.
I'm gonna miss Gunny. That's for sure.
Oh, I mean, hell, he, aside from the whole history of him being a U.S. Marine Corps, his service as a U.S. Marine Corps, he also made a lot of pop culture, made a lot into pop culture references. I mean, I think the best thing that I could remember, he did a recorded voice line for a talking motivational action figure, I think.
Yeah, he was also in, believe it or not, he was also in Toy Story.
Oh yeah. I remember.
I think Army Man.
Yes, he played the Green Army Man. Oh, especially Sarge. I think the name of the character was Sarge himself, but
yeah, that's right.
I think
that's right.
Yeah, but basically he's Sarge. So, and he made a lot of appearances in a lot of movies. If you catch him, I think I'm surprised that he actually made from Toy Story to Toy Story 3 as Sarge. He even made into Family Guy for one, I think.
Yep. Like I said, I'm going to miss Gunny.
Yeah. There's a lot because he made a lot of stuff outside from his old army service. Basically,
Marine
like I said,
Corps. Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. Sorry, I'm gonna be knocked.
Do not disrespect the Corps. I will
Yes,
not
sir.
tolerate it.
Okay. I mean, I think, like I said, he broke through a lot of pop culture references, and he's fondly remembered as being that character in Full Metal Jacket.
Yes, he is.
Mhm.
Let us move on to what this show is really about. The lovely sport that we call professional wrestling.
Ooh, which one are we gonna knock on first?
Your choice.
Let's talk about Superstar Shakeup because that was mostly what's happened across the whole week. Sorry, I just laughed because I saw something on my timeline that is both cringeworthy and just no.
Cringeworthy and what?
Cringeworthy and funny all at the same time.
All right, what was it?
You don't want to know.
Oh, Christ.
You don't want to know. I think you'd find it a little bit hilarious. I mean,
go ahead and spill it. Spill it.
Fine. Hang on. Here, I'll copy the whole thing and I'll send it to you via text.
Coward.
The quotation for that on Twitter is me preparing my playlist before I take a bath. Fair warning. It's not safe for work.
Oh, please.
It is not
disturbing very.
Yeah, disturbing very. The quotation for the caption on it is me preparing my playlist before I take a bath. Thank you so much, I fart memes.
No kidding.
Yep. I'm gonna.
I think I need a bucket.
Sure.
I shouldn't have asked. You were right.
You shouldn't have asked. I said, fine. You don't want to. You needed to know. Curiosity killed a cat.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
You done, or you need one more round before we start on shakedown, breakdown, takedown? Everybody wants it on crowded line.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I mean, Jesus H. Christ, that scared the shit out of me.
You can puke one more time before we
start.
No,
I don't need to. I'm good now.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. WWE's hotly tipped Superstar Shakeup. Wrestling answer to annual trade deadline frenzies. This is your draft day, draft week, or draft month, if you want to say about it. Just that now we're wrestling drafting. So, after 48 hours of surprise gate crashes, dramatic video package announcements, and nominally acknowledged personnel nudges, Raw GM Kurt Angle and his newbie SmackDown counterpart Paige found themselves sorting through remarkably altered rosters. In WWE audience, this has begun the familiar process of readying for new faces, new feuds, and new storylines that will define Mondays and Tuesdays from now until basically WrestleMania 35. So let's go down the whole list of who got to where and who got into who. All in all, we have 19 wrestlers sent from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw, or being called up from NXT. They went to Monday Night Raw, and there's about 18 people from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown Live being called up, as well as even call-ups from NXT as well. I'm including that on both accounts as well. I mean, to me, I think it was. I think personally, I think it's fine because any kind of shakeup, any kind of trade-ins from Raw to SmackDown, from SmackDown to Raw, or call-ups from NXT to the main roster, would basically be a little bit would basically be interesting for me because like I said earlier on, there will be fresh feuds, there will be new faces coming in from Raw to SmackDown, or reused faces coming in from Raw to SmackDown back to Raw again, or SmackDown to Raw and back to SmackDown again. In the case of The Miz, who started SmackDown, bounced back to Raw, and then suddenly comes back to SmackDown. Yay, The Miz! But
The only reason he's come back to SmackDown the only reason he's being sent back to SmackDown is to get his face punched by Daniel Bryan. That's 2 years in the making, and I can't wait till Daniel Bryan does it.
I mean, no matter how much the race is run, it's always going to be ending the same. I think that's the noteworthy caution that I always thought about whenever there's this kind of shakeup where you switch both the women roster and the male roster between Raw and SmackDown, and do call-ups, tossing them into Raw or SmackDown. I think.
Well, I have my opinions on that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the overall shakeup worked very, very heavily in SmackDown's favor.
Oh, of course.
At least that's what we're seeing.
Oh, of course. I mean, I think, yeah.
And the big reason is this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In October, I don't know the exact date, but it's October.
Uh-huh.
SmackDown has their 1,000th episode.
Yep.
Don't you think that Vince is going to want that roster strong?
Of course.
For that show?
Of course. I mean, check out Raw 25th anniversary. Who was in Raw roster at the current at that time?
A lot of the strong people there.
Yeah. Plus call-ups, throwbacks, names that were called up for.
We know that we probably are. I can almost assure you, the Undertaker is going to make an appearance at SmackDown 1000 as well.
Of course,
because that was his home for a long time.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think you have a valid point there. I mean, but other than that, let's just go down to a number of notable names.
Sure, go ahead. My list just suddenly disappeared. I don't know why.
Okay, let me start off. Jinder Mahal, traded from SmackDown to Raw.
Good riddance.
I mean, this made all of the sense in the world until it didn't. You know, and you do know why, right?
Hmm.
He's the U.S. champion from SmackDown going to Raw, and then suddenly he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped by Jeff Hardy.
By a returning Jeff Hardy, yes.
Yeah, and suddenly he lost his belt to a returning Jeff Hardy.
I wasn't ready. Who cares? A champion's supposed to be ready 24/7. You dumbass.
I mean, I'm scratching my head. I mean,
I really can't do that.
Yeah, I know. I think I understand that people were less than thrilled, which means given Mahal's role as a heel, that everything's going as planned. Or was it shocking that Angle would force Mahal to back up his confident, cocky attitude by defending the title where he stood?
I think that was the greatest move.
Yeah. It's less predictable because Jinder Mahal had to face Jeff Hardy, who he lost to flat out. A returning Jeff Hardy, who he lost to flat out. Yep. To me, I think I could merely be table setting for Mahal's second run as US champ after he faces Hardy in the Greatest Royal Rumble at April. Or it's just a redux of the whole story. Zack Ryder's short-lived crowning Mania moment. I mean, he already has his offshoot Mania moment where he's the champ in Backlash. So that's it. Even if he doesn't reclaim the belt, that's a whole lot of buckets of I wonder what happened.
Well, the thing about it is that, and I said this the other night. Mm-hmm. Jeff Hardy's now a Grand Slam winner.
Yes. Congratulations to Jeff Hardy for being yet another Grand Slam winner.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the US title is the only title that he hasn't really held. Mm-hmm. Coming back into it.
He's held the world title.
He did.
tag team titles and the IC championship. Plus, I think he held the hardcore for a little bit.
I think so.
They didn't count. They didn't count that as one of the major titles. So.
Yeah. Back then, I think in his records, I think he can lay claim to winning the European title if he won that.
I think he's won all the major titles that a man could win.
Let's
including
see.
the European title.
Okay, so he has won World Heavyweight Championship. He has won the WWE. He won the European Championship. He has won he has won Hardcore, Intercontinental, Light Heavyweight, Raw Tag Team, World Tag Team, WCW Tag Team Championship. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, of course, let's not forget he's the one-time United States Championship title. Yep. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, good on him.
I just can't see them putting the U.S. title back on Jinder Mahal without giving a title, a mid-card title, even though I don't consider them mid-card titles, goddammit, to SmackDown.
Yeah, I think if he wins, he'll be that smarmy heel that we love to hate. If he doesn't, he'll be a perfect foil to any kind of babyface in the mid card division or the under mid card division. So there's that. So I think this is fine. This is a good addition. This is a good addition to Raw. And of course, I'm gonna be smarky and go, okay, good riddance, Jinder Mahal. Go away from SmackDown. We'll put you to Raw. I mean, I think in a sense it's fine. If you want me to grade it, this is a solid B. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Okay, next name, Bobby Roode.
Interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it is. I mean, here's the downside of it, because I'm not going to say the upside of it yet. The downside of it, he's a man on the wrong side of 40, and he's yet to arrive at his how should I say this? He's yet to make his mark as what we expect him to be.
Yeah.
Because I think the answer, I think you guys know the answer to that. That would be one last run as a world-class heel. Because those of you who watch Donner Party of Wrestling TNA, Bobby Roode made such a huge name for himself as a world-class heel by being that kind of character. Even though we usually say, yeah, he's a dime store Ric Flair or one buck store Triple H or something like that. Would make a joke. He's still the world-class heel, even though he's crossing 40. He already crossed 40. No. He already crossed 40. He's not crossing 40. He already is 40.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. The upside of it, he still looks fit for a man in his 40s, number one.
Yeah, he can still go.
He can still go.
Give him that. I will give him that. He can still go.
He can still go. He can still go. He's totally professional about it. He still has that kind of work attitude. He still has that kind of high-class work mentality where he lets his body of work do the talking for him. Doesn't really mind about the comments or whatnot. He's a professional. He's a consummate professional, I think. That's what I can say, yeah. Because I mean, it's surprising because this one is surprising to me because when they say they want to make a 5v5 main event on Raw and a mystery partner would take on The Miz and his Raw send-up and all that, I didn't expect it to be Bobby Roode. And when it was Bobby Roode, I would say, okay, interesting pick. Just I need assurances to see whether Bobby Roode can actually turn heel or just be that upper mid-card heel or a mid-card heel that we know he can be. So again, this is another solid pick.
Well, one thing I said when I saw, and not that I'm considering Bobby Roode in this class, but a lot of dead weight from SmackDown moved over to Raw.
Oh yeah,
I mean a lot of dead weight.
I'm not arguing against that. Yeah, I will agree on that one because I hate to say that they're deadwood because they're not they're not really bad. They're not really shitty wrestlers or anything like that. They're not holding the their separate brands down before they were made to switch. Just that they haven't really gotten a lot of love from the creative. I think that's what made them dead wood, in a sense. Not because of their wrestling proficiency or not because of their character performance, just that they're delivering on a short end of the stick by the creative. But anyway,
a lot of them were basically unseen.
Yeah. Okay. That's about it. Next up, we have Riot Squad.
Yeah, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and Ruby Riot with 2 T's. Remember, it's with 2 T's now. Why are they heels?
I have no idea.
It just doesn't work for. It don't work for Riot.
No,
Not much I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. Yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need help somewhere.
I mean, they almost
Sarah
made
Logan is the one that was the country girl from Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she is. She's trying to make the Encino woman shtick happen. She's trying very hard to make that shtick happen. Whether it worked or not, your mileage may vary. I mean, nothing about this gang's gimmick really gels. I mean, we're like what, 4 months into this now?
2 months. It seems like 4.
It seems like 4. Oh, okay, 2 months. Okay. It seems like 4 months. Like I said, it seems like 4 months, and nothing about this gang's gimmick really gels. I mean, I'm all for giving a gimmick time, giving them time to settle down, or just settle and give them time to develop their own characters. But in the 2 months, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan had nothing, while Ruby Riot somehow scored a SmackDown Women's Championship bout back at Fastlane.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, in that kind of creative situation, she's the one who has the most upswing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. And I thought that, okay, maybe they're going to bring Ruby Riot in to Raw, and only Ruby Riot, where Liv Morgan can team up with Carmella and Sarah Logan can be Sarah Logan.
Yeah, that would have been a smart move, but
yeah,
this is WWE.
Mm-hmm. This is WWE. Again, this is not their fault. This is not their fault at all, nor is their having being contrived as a stable. No, nothing about that screams that this is the 3 women's fault. No, it's just that I feel that time is running out for Riot because she was somehow scored. Like I said, she somehow had a SmackDown Women's Championship bout with Charlotte and lost, but at least she made her name for herself. What about Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan? Liv Morgan is living on bar.
They both lost to Charlotte, so
Liv Morgan is already living on bar time.
Yeah, she was sent to the main roster to either sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute she is broken away from the Riot Squad, she's gonna sink.
I hope not, because I hope not, because I think she has potential. It's just that she's rushed out a little bit too soon. Even if she had spent a lot of years in NXT and down in the Performance Center, but yeah, it's an iffy pick for me. I think not so solid. I mean, I'll be on the fence on this one. I won't say that this is an utter fail. It's just something doesn't quite seem something doesn't seem right with the pick.
No.
Yeah. I mean, sure, they'll add numbers to the women's division, but you're gonna trade you're gonna trade Absolution for Riot Squad. I mean, that's it.
And I think Absolution is the better pick. But the question we got, and we'll get into this later, is will Paige show favoritism?
Who knows? I mean, will Paige show favoritism to the old PCB crew? On both Becky Lynch and Charlotte, for that matter? Or would she show favoritism to Absolution?
It's both.
Yeah. she's gonna have that kind of what? She's gonna have that kind of power struggle in her head. Well, who am I supposed to show favoritism to? Yeah, in a sense. Anyway, I digress. We'll talk about that later when we talk about SmackDown.
Well, look who's here.
You are so screwed, Doc. It's time to make you laugh.
Sure.
Oh, it's coming, buddy. It's coming like the spring waves. It's coming.
You sound better this week.
It's not been the best of weeks for yours truly, but I'm here. Yes, ladies, I am still single, so you just stay tuned. I'm gonna rock your worlds.
Go find him at a bar somewhere or something. I think that would be better.
No, I got thrown out of the bars this week. I'm on house arrest personally, so.
Oh no.
And we are off and running. Woo.
Yep. We are joined tonight by Biff Kensington, host of
the Queen City Express.
Yes, the best podcast with the Express name in it. That's my official stance.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. We
have a new one. You and I have a new one coming out, Biff. We might as well start promoting it. The Connoisseurs of Wrestling.
Yes, indeed. The greatest podcast with the name Connoisseurs in it.
Yep, because we're going to be talking about a lot of old school wrestling.
Oh, yes. I'm already getting the vapors
to teach the youngsters how to truly appreciate wrestling.
We've got a couple of fine vintages that are coming up in the next few weeks. So.
Yeah, the very first vintage is going to be 1987.
Or
the Jumping Bomb Angels.
It was a good year for Bomb Angels.
Yes, it was.
Nice vintage. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Before I was
also going to cover Bruno for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's a guarantee.
And Paul Jones.
And Paul Jones. Yep, I've got a lot to say about Paul Jones. That's maybe even more so than Bruno, because Bruno at least is going to get the recognition on a national level, but I don't think many people outside of Crockett fans remember Paul Jones.
Let's put it this way. I saw Paul Jones in Chicago, all right?
Right. Okay.
So I know who the hell Paul Jones is, God damn it.
Okay. Well, but you're the most interesting man in the world. I would expect you to know.
I'm the Godfather of LIP, all right?
Well, there you go. I mean, it's the youngins, the plebes out there that don't know Paul Jones. So.
He's
corpse and son of a bitch.
He's the Vito Corleone of the Los Ingobernables Day podcast. That's who he is. So, but anyway, before I was surprised, pulled into a surprise because I thought this was going to be a two-man pod.
I changed it up at the last minute. I have that right.
Okay, fine.
Let me put it this way: how many times did you do that to me?
Countless times, I think.
Yes, so it's called Sweet Revenge. God damn it!
But as far as I remember, I only did a surprise number twice. You did this.
It's the first time I've done it to you.
Right. Just so you guys know. Fine. Just so people should know. I usually come in occasionally 10 minutes before the show starts just to scare the old guy.
Yeah, you do that to me, so this is your punishment.
Yes. I'll put some money into the tip jar for that matter too. Yeah.
$25 fine. Anyway.
Yep.
Let's be frank here. I'm part of the punishment here for Doc, I would like to say.
Yep.
Yeah, because Taker likes me laughing a lot at 1 a.m.
Yep.
You know you like it, Doc. Admit it. It's the first step to recovery.
If I admit it, it's going to be like I'm a masochist in this kind.
No, you're a masochist. Correct.
You have a Biff crust, dude. It's okay. Everybody does.
Then what about Taker? I think
I never said I had a Biff crust, nor will I ever admit that.
No, I didn't say
you don't have to. You don't have to, Taker. Your words speak volumes.
I have a respect for Biff.
But Biff has love for you.
I'm sure he does, because we're both a couple of old school guys. That's the thing.
Well, you threw me a softball there, but I'm going to let that pass because LL isn't here. So,
right. Anyway, Anyway,
I like to think that TakersMinion has treated me like a long lost son. That's what I like to think.
I can agree with that.
LL has to be my stepmom, though. Otherwise, this is creepy.
Especially after you were hitting on her last week, but I digress.
You know what? I think this is. Well, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Let's get back to the shakeup. That got weird.
already 40 minutes in, and this has all gone down the rails already.
We just went straight from Brazzers territory to hello, I'm Chris Engine from Dateline territory. So
I think it's much better that we're going on Howard Stern territory to straight up Pornhub.
Oh God.
Yes, I
Anyway,
made
you were saying MDS?
I was saying, okay, next pick, Natalia.
Good first feud for Ronda.
Mhm.
Because we all know Natalia's going to turn on her in the end.
Oh yes, I bet the farm that Natalia's praying on Rosie.
And Ronda's going to take her arm off as well.
Mhm. I mean, okay. Here's my question: would Natalia get gold on this one?
No.
Okay.
Do you see that, Biff? I don't.
No. I think that honestly, you've got 3 levels to the Raw Women's Division. You're going to have Nia Jax defending the title, probably against the Riot Squad. That's what I would assume.
Mhm.
You'll have Natalia and Ronda Rousey. Natalia's going to give Ronda good matches. She's a safe worker. She's going to help Ronda kind of progress in the ring a little bit. And then you're going to have Sasha and Bayley kind of be like maybe the standout feud because they're the 2 best of the in-ring workers and the most popular. I think that's probably how you'll see it divided up on Raw, which, 3 women's feuds at one time, 3 meaningful feuds. That's a good deal, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'll agree too. I don't really see Natalia actually holding the Raw Women's title again soon. She's a rock solid choice to make Rousey shine. Anyways, she's a perfect compliment.
You know what I call Natalia.
Yeah,
she's one of the greatest carpenters in the women's division right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they need more than anything else with Ronda? A good carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I don't say Natalia I don't say Natalia being a carpenter as an insult to Natalia.
Uh-huh.
You look at everybody she's ever worked with. She's made them all look like $1 million. Even Little Miss Carmella, even though they never had a match in the ring together. When they worked together as a tag team, she actually made Carmella look better than she really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much obvious. I think the role that Natalia is having in the women's division right now, I think that's fine.
And it's a good spot.
That's great. Actually, not fine. I think that's great.
It's a very good spot for her.
Uh-huh.
I got a question for you, Taker. I want to get your opinion on this. It just dawned on me a minute ago.
What's that?
What if they run the reverse of the Bruno Sammartino, Larry Zbyszko angle here? Because Natalia was training Ronda for her in-ring debut in WWE.
Okay.
So basically, Natalia is in the Bruno role. Ronda is in the Larry Zbyszko role, except this time the story is reversed. The student is now better than the teacher, and the teacher can't best the student. And the teacher gets more and more frustrated. That could be an excellent reverse storyline there.
I could see that. I could see that working very, very well.
I think
over the next 2 or 3 pay-per-views, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think we already mentioned that earlier because I think I'm betting everything that Natalia's preying on Rousey's goodwill for stabbing her in the back and getting into that singles feud between Rousey and Natalia. So more time and more feuds to put more shine onto Ronda Rousey is always going to be a better thing.
Yes.
Yeah. They're just going to have to come up with a compelling reason to get fans interested in Natalia, because I think we all agree that Natalia is a great in-ring worker and that she's almost like a gatekeeper. She can really help people, get work done character-wise. But one of the downsides to Natalia, and this is what sank her on SmackDown, she has been around so long at this point that it's kind of old hat for most of the casual fans that don't really appreciate what it is that she brings to the table. You really have to get her into a super hot angle to really get the most out of a feud with her.
Yeah, I agree.
You really need something. You need a hook with Natalya because just on her own, I don't think she has the cachet to really carry a feud just based on who she is.
Well, if they script the promos correctly, they could have Natalya turn heel as a teacher, like you said, saying, I taught Rhonda everything she needs to know about the business and working in the ring. And this is how I get treated.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines that she's like, the teacher should always be respected, but she feels that Rhonda has disrespected her somehow. Her and TJ for that matter. Bring Titan's kid into it.
Yeah, growing jealousy that Rhonda is getting all of this adulation and Natalya at the end of her career is treated like an afterthought.
Exactly. And that could bring a lot of heat down on Natalya. That is one way they could do it. And I mean, I could see that. And yes, WWE and Vince, if your spies are listening today, book that storyline because that's money.
That is absolutely gold. That could carry you to SummerSlam, honestly.
Shit, they could carry all the way to Survivor Series if they had to.
Yeah.
So. You could even carry Biff to the peak, for that matter.
Oh, damn.
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
Or better yet, let Corny book it.
We could do that. But
hell, get Bruce Pritchard in there for that too. I mean, Bruce Pritchard's back on the gold terms, so
yeah, he's yeah.
So
yeah, but yeah, I think in a lot of sense, I think this is just another solid pick from Raw, just picking one of the veterans from veteran in the women's division from SmackDown to Raw. So.
I think she's the longest tenured woman in the division. Next to Alicia Fox.
Yeah, Alicia Fox longer.
Yeah.
Because everybody else pretty much is gone. Lita's gone. Trisha's gone. Beth Phoenix
is gone. Victoria is gone.
Victoria's gone. Ivory's gone. Jacqueline's gone. Michelle McCool is gone.
Layla's gone. So yeah,
a lot of it. Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing. It's always going to be a good thing anyway. So there's that. Okay, next one. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Let me start off with all this. They got fired from SmackDown, forced to fight for a lone roster spot, fell short, and then
got because it was a no contest to be.
Yeah, got transferred to Raw in a shakeup by Stephanie McMahon to spite Angle.
I don't see that working.
It's a lackluster twist.
It is. I mean, it's basically a rehash of what just happened on goddamn SmackDown.
Yeah,
exactly.
It smacks of people booking the show 5 minutes before it starts. That's what it smacks of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. The upsides that I can say this is that Zayn and Owens are automatically WWE's biggest heel twosome. Their competitive re-debut in the aforementioned Raw main event is a little bit chaotic, but they're just a cut above all the little things that make for big entertainment. That it's impossible to keep these two down. And one positive note that I can say is that this is a great clean slate for KO and Zayn. After that whole month-long debauchery of middle management bullshit that we watched on SmackDown, to making Shane McMahon look good, to this. It's a new start for them. And with the Miz departing to SmackDown, the whole charisma quotient increase for Raw increased again with the addition of both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Whether they're united, whether they're a tag, or whether they're fighting and bickering against one another, or just cannonballing and blue thundering their way across four corners, these two are one huge reason to watch. So,
yeah, I would agree. And honestly, Raw needed Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was almost a guarantee that they were going to be going because of the storyline on SmackDown. So
Yeah.
it's not a shock really that they wound up on Raw. I think the way that they did it was kind of lame, but at the same time, I understand WWE is not going to commit to having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go wrestle on the independents to keep up the illusion. That's just not the way they're going to operate.
No.
They needed heels more than anything, and particularly with some of the people that they lost in the shakeup, they needed, top level heels. And whether Sami Zayn meets that criteria, Kevin Owens definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be important for them to get that heel factor because, quite frankly, one of the big needs that Raw had was clearing out some of the backlog of baby faces. You got a log jam behind Roman Reigns with guys like Balor and Strowman and Rollins all sitting there, but they didn't have a lot of top heels to work with. And with, some of their losses, who we could talk about in a little bit, if we haven't already, then, we're looking at a situation where you're either going to have to turn some people heel or you're going to have to use some of SmackDown's mid-card acquisitions, turn them heel, and hope that they can make hay in the main event.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of upside, I think, into reintroducing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn back on Raw. I mean, sure, I can the whole thing where after SmackDown they got fired, after WrestleMania they got fired, and then fighting for that one spot on Raw, and then suddenly get transferred to Raw. It's really a small firecracker pop that we did not expect. We're expecting a lot more going on, but yeah, suddenly we're given that. Just like I said, the positive spots that they can say is that they have a clean slate and they are already proven made heels. Not much on the case of Sami Zayn, but a lot in the case of Kevin Owens. So there's that.
It's just a fresh slate for them to move on because it's time for a new direction for them.
Yeah,
they need something because their whole careers at SmackDown got shot in the ass at WrestleMania.
They did because they had to put Shane McMahon over. They had to put the potato throwing McMahon over.
Can't sell throwing a punch worth a good goddamn. And I know Biff agrees with that because it just, the difference between Shane's punches versus Ronda's punches. Ronda's punches were believable, where Shane looks like a spaz in the ring.
Shane looks like he's playing whack-a-mole at the arcade.
With Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
I did not mean to almost kill you there, Taker. I'm sorry, buddy.
I was taking a swallow of water, damn it. You caused me to spit it all back.
It's Doc that I'm supposed to make court, not you.
You're killing me today, you sumbitch.
Well, I'm just so talented. I aim high and I hit both. So I'm hardcore. I'll take you both, boys.
Oh, shit.
Brazzers Part 2.
Oh, no. I'll opt out from...
Do I need to send Donald to your house?
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that last line.
I'll send his people to see your people, okay?
Send my people, see your people. Yeah, that would be a good line.
I have a direct line, you know what I mean?
When the moon is in the 7th house.
Oh, shit.
And Jupiter... yeah, okay.
He's gonna. If we can't stop him, he's gonna break into a song.
Yeah, I know.
My voice can't handle singing today. I got to Jupiter and my voice was like, "Fuck you, Biff."
Ow.
So, sorry, Matt, but Becky's gonna suffer at SmackDown now. Metal Matt's crying about Becky should have been the one moved to Raw, as is Dennis Cowell.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
I mean, I think in a sense, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, great addition to Raw, with all the losses that they have. Okay, next, I have one NXT call-up alongside one surprising call-up, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
Yes. But why are they putting Drew with Dolph?
I don't know.
That's the question I have.
I don't
Drew
know.
don't need Dolph.
The only thing I could think of is the tag team division on Raw was a wasteland without the bar. So they needed tag teams. That's the only thing I could think of.
They added Fashion Police.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. The Fashion Police and the Ascension are joke tag teams. And you already have, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, who kind of lean towards comedy with the Woken stuff. And then you have Heath Slater and Rhino. That's a comedy team. Titus Worldwide is a comedy team. Raw is just jacked with comedy teams right now.
Well, you got a very strong booker of tag teams over on SmackDown.
I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but Fashion Police actually won their first tag team matchup on TV, and that's with the Bar.
Yeah, but Titus Worldwide won a bunch of matches against the Bar too, so that don't mean a lot.
And yet none of the tag teams could beat Strowman in their battle royal for the title match.
That's because he had the power of North Carolina behind him.
Actually, he's from Tennessee, but I digress.
He's got a tattoo of North Carolina, motherfucker.
You want to bet? You want to change your argument? Look at it again.
Easy.
Tennessee. From Cheryl's Ford.
North Carolina.
What got a tattoo of North Carolina?
Tennessee to me, bitch.
Well,
I spent enough time in that damn state driving truck. That state's almost as long as Texas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you go across 10. I'm sure you know. Well, no, you didn't notice because you didn't make it that far. It's 996 miles from El Paso, which is on the western border.
Yeah,
all the way across to the Louisiana border. 996 miles one way on Interstate 10. I did that many times as a driver, and I tell you what, it took me 2 goddamn days to get through that state. And I was like, am I ever going to get to the end of this goddamn state?
See, I would have done it myself, but I was too busy having a hurricane down in New Orleans. So, priorities and everything.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Okay, boys.
All I will say is he has a tattoo of North Carolina on his arm. I rest my case.
Whatever. Looks like Tennessee to me.
No, he's from Cheryl's Ford, North Carolina. He really is.
Okay.
He lives like 20 minutes away from where I do. He's a homie.
Sure, okay. But we're not talking about Braun Strowman. We're talking about Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
Nobody wants to talk about Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about Drew McIntyre.
Surprising to pair McIntyre with Dolph Ziggler, number one. People are actually saying that, okay, maybe we'll see a Shawn Michaels Diesel rehash of these two.
Oh, please.
So far, personally, in my opinion, haven't seen it yet. Don't see it yet. If Dolph Ziggler is Diesel and Shawn Michaels is Drew McIntyre, then yes.
I think there's a better case to be made that Big Cass and The Miz are going to have more of a Shawn Michaels Diesel relationship.
Just because of the size, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In
the bodyguard role type.
Yeah,
deal.
And the bodyguard role, and because
we don't need Miz and Cass against freaking DB. We just don't need it. No.
Mm-hmm.
You may not need it, but I think that's what you're getting. So
I know. Big Cass needs something to get the stink off of him of he who shall not be named.
Well, he's just came back, so I think they're gonna start him slow. I think,
but he needs to get the stink off of him.
Yeah, of course. But I think his off screen, him being removed off screen for about close to about a year because of his ACL damage, injury.
But he also, like George said on Thursday night, needs to put the goddamn cookies down. He's got a bit of a gut on him now if you look at him.
That's true, but I think
he's not with Carmella anymore, so he's got no reason not to have a gut.
Yeah, she was making sure he ate healthy.
If I was going out with Carmella, I'd eat healthy too.
She looks like an animal. But anyway.
I don't know how to process that, really.
That sounds so wrong on so many levels. That sounds so wrong on so many levels. I'm gonna quickly move ahead.
Yes,
I think
yes.
this is a smart. I think this is a smart reset for Ziggler, who's been bitching and moaning about. Well, I feel like I'm going to have to go away from WWE. I'm going to have to take a break for about a year or two. And I think, in his argument, in his defense, he does have that capability of going away from WWE or going away from wrestling altogether, because he already has an accomplished role in Fox, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He does stand up comedy, and he has a I think he has a broadcast company with his brother as well. So there's that. He can definitely do something outside of wrestling. Just that I don't know what I don't know what Vince has with Ziggler that enabled Ziggler to say, okay, I'm gonna stay for about one more year or so with another bumper contract.
According to what I'm hearing, Ziggler hasn't signed a contract yet.
Interesting.
He's still got a year left on the current one. So who the hell knows?
Yeah, but I think okay, I'm gonna judge this on a split, because I'm not gonna go Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre together, even though they are together.
I see McIntyre eventually getting tired of Ziggler's shit and beating the hell out of him.
Yeah, I think Drew McIntyre is a smart addition from NXT to the main roster. I believe he has unfinished business with the main roster and WWE as a whole.
No, that's true.
Back then, he was called as the Vince McMahon's chosen one,
which was a mistake.
Yeah, well, I think it was a mistake. I think it was a mistake.
There was talk on Monday night at one point, because you had Jinder, Drew, and
Heath Slater. Yeah,
all in one place.
Yeah, the 3-man band is back together again in technicalities terms. So yeah, I think it's a smart addition. I think overall, no complaints on me here. If it helps Dolph Ziggler to get a good reset on his character, then all the better for it. If this doesn't work and Dolph Ziggler leaves in about a year or so, but hopefully manage to elevate Drew McIntyre as a more character, solidify Drew McIntyre's role in the Raw roster, then all the better for that. So yeah.
Looks like we lost somebody.
Yeah. Oh, he dropped out.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks like it. I just asked him what happened.
Okay, never mind. We can move on to Baron Corbin, one of our favorite wrestlers that we loved.
Wiley Corbin, yes. Has the hairline of Wiley Coyote.
Has the mentality of Wiley Coyote.
Yes, he does. Keeps beating his head against the wall until the squishy sound finally gets the best of him. I just don't see much happening with him. He was one of those dead weight guys, I think.
I mean, I read a Twitter user suggesting Baron Corbin's new finishing maneuver's name. It's the end of ratings.
That's cold as shit.
I think it's great though.
That's cold.
Because he is such a, this is a guy, Baron Corbin is a guy that is involved in the NFL concussion lawsuit and got himself involved in a WWE concussion lawsuit.
Accidents happen.
Yeah.
When was he concussed in WWE or NXT that we know about? Not that I know of.
Not that I know.
Well, has he wrestled Jinder Mahal?
Not yet.
He hasn't yet. But
actually, he did. He lost the cash into him. So.
Oh yeah.
Who does he blame? Yeah, John Cena, because it was a simple goddamn roll up.
I mean, okay. Hurt. No, he can't decide whether he hates Jinder Mahal or Cena more, and then he decides, okay, I hate John Cena more.
Long enough for Jinder Mahal to roll him up and get the 1, 2, 3.
No. Here's what gave him the concussion. Vince changed his mind on the booking so damn fast to give him whiplash. That head snapping motion from getting the big boot there from Vince
Well, the minute Vince heard that he was part of the lawsuit, he said, "Screw you, fella! You're giving up the case, and you're gonna fail."
Mm.
I think that takes balls to sue Vince.
It
While
does.
you work for Vince.
I mean, okay, I'll pull that aside.
Remember this.
Mhm.
When Kevin Owens was quote unquote in kayfabe threatening a lawsuit against Vince, what did Vince tell him? It'll be tied up. I could tie it up in court for years, and you will be broke. I can assure you, that's the truth. Vince has got a laundry list of lawyers that could one motion after another to tie something up for years.
Yeah.
To the point where everybody's like, screw this shit. We're done.
Well, he spent so much time in court, he better know the court system and all his lawyers.
Oh, of course. I mean, okay, I'll remove that. I'll remove the whole thing out of the picture because I'm going to concentrate on just one thing. The Corbin character. Kind of just a dick. It's kind of just a dick. And a limp dick at that one.
He's been neutered. He got neutered by Nikki Bella, remember?
Not
my words. Not my words. Legend Lovers' words.
He got his nuts chopped off by several people already. So I guess his limp dick character.
Dave Meltzer cut his nuts off.
Yeah, I think that's why his limp dick character is out. I mean, he moves well. He could project a darker aura with some adjustments to his metal bar bouncer aesthetic. More of a silent assassin mode. I mean, I got interested on Baron Corbin when he got in because of the whole image of his silent assassin mode. He doesn't really talk much, but he just beats people up. He's just being an ass to people without even saying anything. He just assaults people left, right, and center. When he starts speaking, that's when I lost it.
Yeah, he can't speak worth a shit.
It's not that he can't. He's
a poor promo.
Yeah.
When you let him go off the cuff, he's great. Talking smack, he was excellent.
Yeah.
Agree.
As are most of the superstars when they were on Talking Smack. Hence the reason it was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Because they looked too good.
Yeah.
Being able to freewheel. No, God damn it. They can't have that. They got to go what I want them to say, God damn it.
I thought you were about to say free ball. I was about to say, yeah.
No, they can't free ball either.
They can't free ball, damn it.
Although some of them probably do under their trunks, but I digress.
There was a Xavier Woods joke to be made in there, but I'm not going to make it.
Go ahead.
I like Xavier Woods.
Me too. I do like him. Even with the whole...
Xavier Woods, Kofi, and Biggie are three of the greatest off-the-cuff guys that you'll ever meet.
Yep.
Another one that's good at it is John Cena. And
Yes.
The Miz. I will give The Miz his props. Yes, Sal, I've said it.
I mean, okay. Back to Corbin. I think it's a... I'm wondering why. What's Baron Corbin's role again on this one? It's a questionable pick for me. So there's that.
He's the IC hunt.
Probably so, but we'll see. This switch has to come up, has to be the start of something if Baron Corbin's character is ever going to work. I think that's it. Ooh, one surprising pick that I didn't see out from left field is actually Breezango.
I just think Raw needed the tag team depth, personally, given who they were losing.
No. I think number one, that's it. I think number two, Tyler Breeze and Fandango's switch, they made SmackDown fun again, so much so that it became infectious. So
yeah, especially with Fashion Police, but
Fashion Files.
All right.
But yeah.
So that means, you're saying a great pickup was Breezango.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that Ascension had to come with him?
They should not, but I think they should have as well. Which I think in this case they did. I think. Yes,
I thought the Ascension was dead after they did the Saw thing where they were gassed.
Which they did.
And yet the next week, here they come, they're alive. It's like, okay, what the hell?
I think everybody and their sister knows what the Ascension's coming over for, and it's not to continue palling around with Breezango.
No.
They're set up for the Authors of Pain to look like monsters. They're going to be fed to them, and that's going to be kind of the Authors of Pain's, first big established win over a tag team on the way up, I think.
I think so. I mean, even with the Authors of Pain, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, the Revival, and others making noise in the Raw tag team division and Raw tag team belts, we could say an outside chance that Breezango has a real shot to regain momentum as fan favorites and necessary standard bearers of quality control, notwithstanding, because these two guys are consummate professionals, especially Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze is a consummate jobber.
Yeah, he's a consummate jobber. He knows
was a consummate jobber in NXT, for Christ's sake.
No, he actually has a main event. He actually is a main eventer in NXT. Back when they were starting, he's one of those guys. He's one of the guys.
He wrestled Jushin Thunder Liger.
Number one and number two.
50-year-old man who kicked his ass.
Mm-hmm. And he actually had a main event to win the NXT title.
Which he didn't.
But then again,
that was against who was that? That was against Finn, wasn't it?
That was against Bo Dallas, and I think it was a four-way, or I think it was a four-way or a triple threat. I think.
Yeah, Neville, Bo Dallas, or not Bo Dallas. It was Neville, Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, and Sami Zayn.
Is it?
Yeah, Sami Zayn won the title that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Take over Fatal 4-Way, yeah.
And Zayn won the title.
And our Evolution, the next one.
Yes,
Zayn won it on a one-on-one with Neville at the next takeover. That was Neville's last takeover title defense. Successful title defense.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think that was Breezango was a surprise for me. I think but I think I can agree on Biff on that point where they're gonna fill up the whole Raw tag team division because let's face it, SmackDown's tag scene has been dominated by the three marquee acts. Now, the Usos, New Day, and Bludgeon Brothers. Raw literally handed out his belts to Braun Strowman and a 10-year-old kid at WrestleMania, which they quickly just vacated again. I mean, other than those kind of pair, who would you see picking it up? Who would you see pick up the Raw tag team title belts amongst the list of people like Authors of Pain, Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Revival, Breezango, or even Connor Victor for that matter, the Ascension? Who knows? I mean, it's go ahead.
The problem with Raw is they have two competing problems right now. Yeah. They lack true top level heels. Most of their heels are mid card level, and they lack serious tag teams. They only got two right now that I would consider true serious tag teams. The Authors of Pain, who haven't beat anybody yet, they're still being established, and the Revival, who aren't taken very seriously. Everyone else is comedic to a certain level.
Yeah.
And then the only real credible babyface team you have is Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, but there's no guarantee how long that's going to last. Now, you have Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. That could be a tag team to come in. You have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That could be a tag team to come in. The problem is you really need Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as singles competitors to give depth to your heel roster on Raw. I don't know that you really want to waste him in the tag ranks. Drew McIntyre, same time. He really needs to be established as a singles guy because the pairing with Dolph is not really going to go very far. And so you take those two possible teams out of the mix. I always thought that the Authors of Pain would get their coronation at SummerSlam. Bray and Matt would win the tag titles, and then they would feud with some teams here or there. Maybe the Revival carry them for a couple of weeks, and then the Authors of Pain.
The question I have for you, Biff, is this: is Authors of Pain face or heel?
I think they're heel. I think.
Yeah. They've got to be heel.
Although we've had Paul Ellering come out publicly and say he don't mind to travel, which is kind of ironic.
Which is surprising considering the fact that Authors of Pain ditched Paul Ellering storyline-wise.
Yes.
That might have been a case of Triple H wanting him to remain in NXT to help the younger talent out.
Probably.
That's a possibility.
He could wind up and start managing, heavy machinery or whatever. Could go face with a new tag team.
Or War Raiders. Yeah.
The War Raiders. That's the one I see him going with.
I mean, he could do that, but okay. Breezango.
Very solid. Well, yeah, but I think Authors of Pain, just to kind of punctuate that last point, they have to be heel at first. Number one, they're going to be excellent baby faces one day. It's going to be a Road Warrior scenario if you build them up properly, but they got to start as a heel team. If nothing else, there's a glut of babyface teams for them to go through on Raw.
Which I still think that Authors of Pain should have went to SmackDown, to be perfectly honest, because they were so hot coming out of NXT.
I think it was a matter of Vince wanting them on the flagship show. I think there was no other reason for that.
Yeah, I think that's mostly the case. Why? Anyway, Breezango, I think very solid pick. Could go. I could slot them alongside Natalia, alongside Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and surprisingly alongside both Bobby Roode and Jinder Mahal for Raw. I could just being solid, not spectacular, just solid.
It honestly felt at times like SmackDown septic tank got emptied on the Raw's lawn. It's what it felt like.
What's that?
I think it's true. I think that's. I think
SmackDown defecated on Raw, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me run down a few of the lesser names real quick. Chad Gable.
That's a Greek tragedy. It was a Greek tragedy that he got foisted on Raw.
he got cut. Yeah, he got cut, but got lots of upside as petulant, entitled, but incredibly gifted thorn in many a mid-carder side. So there's that. He's a good pick. Not really.
He's going to be a great heel mid-carder.
Of course.
If they let him. That's the key.
If they let him too. That's it. That's okay.
Jesus Christ, look at his time as a heel on NXT.
As American Alpha, yeah.
No.
No.
Go back to Ready, Willing, and Gable, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
He got that over as a heel more better than a lot of people.
Yeah, agreed. And
Bobby Roode as a heel was over, but not like Chad Gable was.
Yeah, okay, understandable. Also, when they united him with Jason Jordan, what the hell happened to Jason Jordan?
He got hurt.
Yeah, okay. Now I remember.
His shoulders all kind of screwed up.
Okay. It could be a sign that they wanted to reunite.
I just hope one thing coming out of this, that the whole bastard son angle is done.
Yeah, and like I said, I hope that they reunite the original American Alpha back again and start them off as heels or faces. I'm not complaining on the whole dichotomy because they both can work.
I saw them as faces here in my hometown last year ago February, and they were red hot as faces.
Yeah,
they were tag team champions back then.
Agree. Okay. Good pick. Okay.
They decided to destroy the team, which I never did understand why.
Yeah, that's true. I think I don't really understand why they wanted to split it up, but okay. Mojo Rawley.
Oh, that's a guy going nowhere fast.
The walking scrotum. That's what Mojo Rawley is.
This is my question.
He is in the hamster wheel, going very fast to nowhere.
Is Mojo a football player running drills inside a wrestling ring, or a sports entertainer with God-given gridiron explosiveness? Is there any scenario beyond reinvigorating his rivalry with Zack Ryder?
And that's why Zack came with him.
Are you hyped yet?
No, I'm not hyped. And I don't think Biff is either.
Choice, I think.
Biff is trying to give a damn here, and Biff does not give a damn.
Yeah, I have 0 fucks left to give for both.
I'm not wasting a material on this shit person. So
Okay.
Let's put it this way: I have 0 fucks left to give either Zack Ryder or Mojo Rawley. To be perfectly honest.
Agreed. I'm just kind of sitting here because I'm not going to waste good material on Mojo Rawley. So
Okay.
They missed their opportunity with him.
Yeah. Okay. I understandable. Zack Ryder, should I say more? I mean, I'd say this though. He's a
This
better
is a guy that has been given so much shit over his career and has yet come out smelling like a rose. Every goddamn time he's given this shit, you know, he's kind of like the Rusev of mid-carders.
Yeah.
He has been given so much shit over his career, and yet he has made some of the greatest chicken salad out of the worst chicken shit that can be given to somebody.
I'll say this though for him. He's a better pick than Mojo Rawley itself.
By 100.
Yep.
Well, hell, anybody's better than Mojo Rawley.
I'll do that. I'll do that as a quick hot take. He's better than Zack Ryder is much better than Mojo Rawley.
Hell, Zack Ryder,
there, aren't we, pal?
Hell, Zack Ryder is better than freaking Baron Corbin. Okay, that's a hot take right there.
Mm-hmm.
I will pay my money to see Zack Ryder more than I will pay my money to see Baron Corbin.
Oh, hell yes. I think that's an agreed upon.
Here's a hot take. I'm about to start drinking beer.
That's not a hot take anymore. That's just you getting buzzed.
It's a hot take somewhere, pal.
Why you want to start drinking beer at 12:30 in the afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
When
no
the
reason.
Moon is
oh
in
God,
seventh.
please!
Do I need to mute the mic? There you go.
Do I need to put Biff in timeout?
I don't.
Hey!
You called him. You do whatever you want with him.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
You know I have to give you a bad time, buddy. If you don't, you'd wonder what was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel the love in here tonight. Ooh, that was a good song.
The Ascension. Quick take. Yay or nay?
No.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
Mike Kanellis.
Who gives a shit?
I think it's a good thing. Getting back to wrestling again after being out for so long and actually getting a baby for that.
Well, the thing, no, he wasn't out because because Maria was pregnant and having a kid. He was out because he was in fucking rehab.
Yeah. Okay, that's one thing.
Well, I feel a little bad for making fun of him now. Actually, no, I don't. I still don't care. I'm glad he got his life on track, but it's Mike Kanellis.
But the question is, for how long?
We'll have to see what happens. I think this is a good. This is a start. Hopefully, this is a start. So,
remember, Biff, you didn't even know he was in the Battle Royal until he was eliminated.
Yep.
Well, that's true. I mean, Mike Kanellis, he is. Oh God, he's only there because Maria. Let's be 100% clear here. Maria is the star of that pairing, and without Maria, he is nothing but a Kurt Hawkins level scrub.
I think that is an agreement.
That doesn't mean that I'm not happy for him being in rehab. I'm glad that he got his life turned around. That's the dichotomy between the fan experience, he sucks, and the human experience. I'm glad that he got help. So, but in terms of paying money to see Mike Kanellis, kiss my ass.
I think I can agree with. I think a lot of people will agree with that. It's tough to say and it's difficult to say, but yeah, Mike Kanellis is actually riding on the coattails of.
I wish I could ride on the coattails of Maria.
She's one hot woman.
I know. That's why I want to ride her coattails, because her coattails are the
That's
happy
not
fun
the only
zone.
thing you want to ride, but
The coattails are close enough to the happy zone. So
Let's move on. Let's just move on.
I love the fact that Doc is sitting there with like the band hammer. He's just kind of holding it over a conversation, and
he's a steadying force of this show. Have you not learned that yet?
he's got his finger on the abort switch. So he just
Now
flushes
you know.
that right down the toilet to get the hell out of here. So
Yep.
Anyway, I digress. Here's what Raw lost. One of them, Samoa Joe.
that hurts. Raw.
Mhm.
Big time.
I'm saying this. Here's what Raw lost because this is what SmackDown gained. So anyway, Samoa Joe.
Big pickup for SmackDown.
Mhm.
Huge.
Might be the biggest move of the entire shakeup, to be honest.
Quite big, very big.
Well, next to the bar.
Next to the bar, but I think this one is the best pick that SmackDown could possibly get. Because they need a fiery trash talker like Samoa Joe. They need a badass like Samoa Joe on SmackDown.
Yeah. Because right now Big Cass doesn't have, Big Cass came over from Raw.
Mhm.
And he doesn't have, he's coming off an ACL injury. And he still has, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, he still has a stink on him from He Who Shall Not Be Named. We don't talk about that person here. Just like a lot of shows don't allow that name to be spoken.
Oh, of course. I think he spoke in quite a long time, but the way that he spoke is actually just him posting another person's Twitter on his Instagram. So that's
I could care less about that little bastard.
I mean,
He was a cancer. He was a cancer in the locker room, and he did something that is going to probably cost him up to 10 years in prison.
Well, anyway, I mean, okay, fine, but anyway, Samoa Joe, still awesome. This guy is at 39 years old. He somehow hasn't really reached his limit of his upside.
But I do have one problem.
With what, Samoa Joe? Or the pickup of Samoa Joe to SmackDown?
Neither.
Okay.
It has to go back to what Roman said Monday night.
Oh.
Why don't you bring your fat ass down here? Do we really have to go into the body shaming shit yet again?
I think this is another sign that WWE wants to move quickly along from all the whole issues that can cause sensitivity to some people. I think this is WWE's subtle way of saying, "Oh shit! Hopefully Roman Reigns said that by mistake, and we'll just quickly."
I don't think so.
No, that was scripted.
I believe. I agree with you, Biff. I believe that was scripted. And but why would they double down on something like that? We just had that shit go down. So what you're going to do is you're going to, quote unquote, have Roman go over Brock this coming Friday, and then have Joe take it from him. It doesn't make sense. Now we'll have the two main titles on SmackDown. No, it don't make no goddamn sense whatsoever.
Well,
so we're gonna have, and I hate to say this, we're gonna have the body shamer win at Backlash.
If he does not win on Greatest Royal Rumble,
I'm actually gonna call a surprise here. I think you're gonna see a really unusual turn of events, because remember, you have Samoa Joe in the Intercontinental title match at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and you also have Jeff Hardy defending the U.S. title against Jinder Mahal. I think what you're going to see is Samoa Joe win the Intercontinental title, Jinder Mahal win the U.S. title back, so you end up with the U.S. title on Raw, I think Roman Reigns loses to Brock Lesnar, and then he also loses to Samoa Joe, setting up a heel turn. That puts the Intercontinental title back on SmackDown because you want the Intercontinental title on the same brand as The Miz so that he can eventually win it back. I don't think there's no. Let me put it to you this way: I'm calling a Roman Reigns heel turn for no other reason. If they're not turning him heel, then they are literally intentionally trying to kill the character. Full stop, flat out. There's no other explanation. There's no way that this, these last few weeks for Roman Reigns could do anything other than get him to a heel turn. If this is their idea of keeping the status quo or trying to make him a babyface, then they're functionally brain damaged. Okay? There's no other way. You can't defend it any other way. He's got to be going heel, or else they're intentionally trying to kill him.
Well, I got into a discussion this morning in the threads, and the word is that as long as there's a clause in the new contract that Block signed, and I call him Block, Block, that for him to stay, he has to keep the championship. And I have a fear that they're gonna bend Roman over yet again at the greatest Royal Rumble, and it's going to kill his character. It will kill him. It will destroy him as a viable competitor for the title. And what they're going to wind up doing, and I haven't said this, but what they're going to wind up doing is they're going to slot Bobby Lashley in to take the title.
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is coming from somebody who is sitting in New Orleans. I think they've already reached that point with Roman. He's already dead as a character to me.
They killed him. They killed him in New Orleans. If he don't win the title in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, he's done.
Well, I think he's done anyway. Whether he wins the title or not, his time is done.
Shit, they're gonna wind up releasing him in the next 6 months. You watch.
I think Roman, if anything, Roman would quit in the next 6 months. But.
Yeah, if he's getting treated like that, I mean,
no. And I'm a Roman fan. I like Roman. I always have.
Yeah, so do I.
I mean, if that's the way, it's going to be blatantly obvious that Vince McMahon has preferential treatment over what he wants to be on his flagship show.
Well, the body type that gives Vince a hard on. It is Bobby Lashley.
Well,
just
the thing with Bobby Lashley is that he's never really proven, I don't think, that he could be a credible top-level babyface. His best work's always been as a heel. So,
back in TNA, yeah, but back on WWE, he hasn't really made much of a mark. He hasn't really made much.
Block right now is a babyface, regardless of what they've tried to do.
That's true. But, okay.
So they need a heel foil. Bobby Lashley could be it.
I mean, Bobby Lashley is fine as a short-term option. You're not going to have Bobby Lashley do like a 1.5 year long run like Brock had.
Why not? Why not? It's the right body type for Vince.
It's the right body type, but I don't know.
I think it's a case of Bobby Lashley having more. I think he has more say and more control over what he can do.
Yeah. Okay.
And Brock, as much as he says that he wants to be on UFC, somehow retracts back when Vince gives him buttload of money and say, "Okay, I'm going to stay at WWE." Or maybe
but the thing about according to what I'm hearing, his contract is based on him staying Universal Champion indefinitely. Because the minute he loses, he's gone.
The minute he loses, there's no reason for him to stay. To be honest.
Yeah. To be honest,
if you listen to the interview with Paul Heyman and Sam Roberts, which is available on YouTube, folks. Paul Heyman flat says there's no reason for Brock to stay if he loses the title. There's no reason at all.
There is none. Because afterwards, if Brock Lesnar loses the title, that means he has no uptake anymore. Other than the fact that he's a freak of nature and the beast incarnate and a once-in-a-generational wrestler who has that kind of size.
Okay, well, can we all agree here that the entire purpose that Brock was being built up for was utterly shot and wasted? I mean, they
was being built up to lose to Roman at New Orleans, and they didn't pull the trigger because Vince was afraid.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. They blew it before they even got to New Orleans. I will go to my grave saying the entire run with Goldberg killed Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah.
At least with The Undertaker and that loss that Brock had at SummerSlam, there was tomfoolery around it. And then he beat Undertaker at Hell in a Cell after, and you could kind of hand wave it away. Getting squashed in a minute 30 by Brock killed it.
I think that's more.
Because he would never take him. He was never the invincible monster after that.
Yeah. I think it was more that one is to stroke Goldberg's ego, I think, coming back into SmackDown.
No.
Because number two, because he wants the win. He wants that kind of win. So there's that as well. But I can only speculate, in my personal opinion, anyways. It's hard to digress what is on the plans for Brock Lesnar going forward. I mean, if Brock Lesnar still stays in WWE as Universal Champion, I think it's just going to do more damage to Raw as a whole. Raw's main event talent as a whole. So there's that. I digress.
I just think that you've got to. I mean, because look at the heel side on Raw. Who are your big heels right now? You have Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, Baron Corbin, and then Brock Lesnar, who's really treated as a face by the fans. You have Roman Reigns, who is kind of in this nebulous gray area. He's caught between being a heel and a face with the polarizing reactions. Roman, as a babyface, is done because not only did he get the crap kicked out of him every week leading up to WrestleMania, he lost the match at WrestleMania. He got bloodied. He was beaten up 80% of the time. The very next night, he comes out and basically pouts that Vince chose the part-timer over him. Like, you know, Daddy chose his favorite kid, and I'm going to go sit in the corner and cry about it. So, and this is what's really, you know, unfortunate about Roman. You have seen a paradigm shift online over the last couple of weeks. I've seen it multiple times at Cage Side. You have people that have been defending Roman from the start of his push. Even the most hardcore of Roman's fans are beginning to give up. When you start seeing people throw up their hands and give up hope on him, that is a bad sign, because if the hardcore fans that like him are giving up hope, the casual fans aren't going to be far behind. So it's a tragedy what they've done to Roman Reigns. I've never seen WWE kneecap a guy they like more than Roman Reigns. It's a Greek tragedy is what it is.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that totally, because, you know, they worked so hard and they kept telling him, you're going to be the guy. You're going to be the guy. You're going to be the guy. And every time it came to the match where he was going to be the guy, they said, no, not yet. Why? I mean, Jesus, all of us, and I mean everybody, casuals, hardcore, you know, regular fans, believed, in our hearts, believed that at WrestleMania 34, we were going to see the end of the Brock Lesnar holding hostage the Universal title and it being on TV every week with Roman Reigns. And what did they do? No, they had Brock Lesnar and Roman agree for Brock to hardway him with a bloody head and lose another goddamn match to Brock. Why? Why? Is it because, we didn't want to hear? You know, Vince, grow a pair of balls and say, to hell with what the crowd says and give it to him.
I never bought that excuse. I never bought that Vince was waiting for the right crowd response. I mean, look at WrestleMania 32 and 33.
That was a chicken shit excuse, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, Roman was getting booed out of the building in Dallas, and he still won. And everybody and their sister knew that Roman was getting booed out of Orlando for beating the Undertaker. So why would the crowd reaction matter here? I don't buy that excuse. I really don't.
I haven't bought that excuse either. And it's total unmitigated bullshit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I think there's only one reason that they changed the booking, quite frankly. The only way that this makes sense. I think it's as simple as that. I think Vince sees Brock as his biggest star, and he doesn't want to lose Brock.
And yet, 2 days before, and yet 3 days before, Dana White was on a show, a brand new program on ESPN called Get Up, where he said Brock Lesnar's coming back. It's out there, folks. It's out there. That is out there. Dana White flat said Brock Lesnar will be back. And this is before WrestleMania. Now, why would Dana White do that and then show up, be ringside that night? Vince is a goddamn idiot if he gave that man ringside seats, knowing that Dana White said that. Dana White is going to try everything he can to undercut the WWE. Why? He's got 2 of his biggest stars working for WWE. Has 2 of the biggest stars UFC ever had in Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey. 2 of Dana White's biggest cash cows are now with WWE. I'm sorry. Guys, tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you are. And I think that, we are in a very perilous time here as far as WWE is concerned, because you have to understand there is a severe risk that Vince is running here. And I don't think we've talked about it much. It hasn't got a lot of play, and I think it needs to be brought up. Let's assume for a moment that Roman Reigns wins the title in Saudi Arabia. And whatever...
Biff, I hate to cut you off, but I'm going to say this. You know what happens when we assume?
It makes an ass out of you and me, I know.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Well, let's prognosticate. Let's prognosticate here that Roman wins the title in Saudi Arabia. And then it validates, at least in the fans' eyes, the theory that Vince wanted Roman to be cheered. Okay? Which, again, I don't really buy it, but let's assume for a moment that Vince wanted Roman to get the big win in Saudi Arabia.
I don't
realize that you've put a stake in the heart of WrestleMania by doing that?
Yes, they did.
Because WrestleMania was just a pre-show to your Greatest Royal Rumble show. And you have the Nakamura AJ match, which was intentionally shortened in order to build up that feud. You had the Brock Roman match, which the ending was aborted on. You've basically taken WrestleMania, and it's no longer the big showcase to end your storyline year. Now it's just another show. And the amount of money you have to pay to go to see WrestleMania, you are paying top dollar price. You want top dollar show. If I'm a fan and they're trying to get me to buy tickets to WrestleMania next year, fuck them. I'm going to sit and watch it at home, because Lord knows the real big show with all the title changes isn't coming until 3 weeks after. They're going to they run a very serious risk of damaging WrestleMania with these Rumble shows they're doing in Saudi Arabia, because it's a 10-year deal. They're going back another 9 years after this. This is not a one and done for WWE. They signed a 10-year partnership with Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Sport. So it's very possible this could be a new yearly event right after WrestleMania. This could be the death of WrestleMania if they're not careful, and I'm not exaggerating.
I agree. And the thing about it is that WrestleMania is supposed to be the start of the season and WWE Super Bowl. Why minimize it now with this goddamn thing?
And especially the optics of this show are so bad.
And yeah, and another thing that's bad is that as long as they have this 10-year deal, we're not going to see women wrestling in Saudi Arabia whatsoever.
Yep. This whole deal with the Saudi Arabia show, I understood it from a business perspective. Vince is going to make a lot of money. At the end of the day, that's his primary goal for his shareholders. I understood it, but the more I've sat here and thought about this, the more uneasy I'm becoming. If you actually follow some of the stuff that's going on with the ticket sales and how the Saudis are actually manipulating the arena seating to make the bottom section only for families, where women can sit there, they have to be accompanied by men in the bottom section, and single men are being forced up to the top.
Well,
This is a really seedy sounding thing, to be completely honest.
It is and it isn't. For one simple reason, that's the culture. And you know as well as I do, back in 91 when we were there in Saudi Arabia for the Gulf War, the Saudis had problems with women in positions of command.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is their culture, that the woman is second rate, that single men are considered second rate. I mean, for crying out loud, malls are separated to those that are single and those that are married. Those that are family, they have family malls and they have malls for singles. This is the way they work over there. It is not WWE's place. And I have to give George credit. I have to give George Asaves credit for this. He brought this up on Thursday night when I was on the show. It is not WWE's place to try to change culture.
Oh, of course not. No.
No, I agree. But at the same token, WWE, you lose the moral high ground when you toss out your PR sound bites about being this progressive company. You know, shut the fuck up, take your money, and accept your role. Vince can't have it both ways. I'm not saying that he's wrong to go to Saudi Arabia. As a businessman, it's brilliant. He's making millions of dollars.
He's making hundreds of millions of dollars off of this.
Yeah, as a businessman, it's brilliant. But you either enjoy the PR and you be this progressive company for, you know, inclusion and everything, or you shut up and you take the fucking money. Don't act all high and mighty with your PR department after, because it's going to be a hypocritical see-through.
Of course.
So that's my 2 cents about it.
Yes,
I think anything.
Dennis, I would agree with. I would say this. Yes, the WrestleMania should be the finale of the calendar year, and this is Metal Matt saying that WrestleMania should be the season finale for WWE's calendar year. I agree. So, and I believe that WWE should get a 2-month at least break. You know, they shouldn't go into this thing right after the WrestleMania. What, 2 weeks after?
2 weeks after, I think.
They don't need something like this. This is going to kill the specialness of WrestleMania.
Yeah, especially if you look at the stage setup. This is a huge stage. It's actually kind of funny. People saw this leaked design before WrestleMania. They thought it was the WrestleMania stage. It was actually the Greatest Royal Rumble stage that they're building. So
they're going to use WrestleMania to build to that, and it's going to kill WrestleMania. This is something that Vince. I can't remember the exact year the first one was. My memory is fuzzy.
The first WrestleMania?
Yes.
1985.
Okay. He's going to take everything that he from 1985, where he mortgaged everything, and I mean everything, to make WrestleMania what it was. To make now something more important in a country that's not in America. America is where Vince made his money, and now he's going to give it to a foreign country. I'm sorry. I'm a former Marine here talking, and this hurts me. Vince, you're shitting on the country that has made you what you are. Thank you, Biff, for bringing this up, because I have had this opinion since it came out. And you've opened the door where I can say exactly how I feel. I am a man who served in the Marine Corps, who defended the rights of the American people. And now I feel that Vince is shitting on my service doing this. I may be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Well, it's a very touchy subject when you get into the personal level on that. But and I'm not saying you're wrong to feel that way. You really can't, because I think that we've seen it, in bits and pieces over the last 3 years. WWE has really begun expanding their international influence. I think that, we're looking at this from two different levels. The pragmatic business perspective, yeah, I understand it. But on a personal level, as a fan, it hurts. Yeah, because it's not only, it's not only a sense of almost losing something special. Biff,
it's a sense of betrayal.
Yeah, it is, and I can't speak on the same level that you did, because you have the service to your country. That's an entirely different level, an entirely deeper level for you. I can only speak from a shallower level as a fan. It hurts to lose the uniqueness of WrestleMania. And it hurts in a way that's hard to vocalize, because I don't think that newer fans fully appreciate what WrestleMania is and what it used to be. There is something that's already lost about WrestleMania in the modern era with the way they book the cards. It hasn't been a true WrestleMania in a long time.
No.
And now we're booking shows that are even bigger than WrestleMania right after. And it's almost as if this is the final shot that's going to, finally reduce WrestleMania to just being on the level of the other shows. And as a fan, as a lifelong fan, that hurts so bad. I cannot express in words hardly.
Well, like I said on Thursday night, what's next after this? WrestleMania from Tehran? WrestleMania from Baghdad? Please. Keep it in the States. Make it important as it always has been. Keep it important.
Well, Vince is going to do what Vince is going to do. So, if I had a list of all the stupid things WWE's done in the past, I'd run out of paper.
Of course.
You both.
But I mean, it's sad that we've reached a point where even, the sacred cow that is WrestleMania can be butchered for, Vince's short-sightedness, I think. And let me be clear. Let me be clear. I don't have a problem with a WrestleMania outside of the U.S.
I don't either, but it has to be the right country.
It has to be the right, yeah. Like it. If you want to put,
you know where I would like to see it done. To be perfectly honest with you, and they did it once before. They did a SummerSlam,
London.
Yes, I would love to see a WrestleMania from Wembley.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, the only reason they haven't done WrestleMania from Wembley is that SummerSlam 92 did not do well in the States financially.
No,
and I think that's why Vince.
Difference.
Yeah, and I think that's why Vince has always been skittish about WrestleMania over in London. I think if you're going to see a foreign WrestleMania, I think the best way to start off is either go back to Canada, which you have Toronto, obviously, it's hosted 2 WrestleManias. You could do Vancouver, you could do maybe Calgary. That's kind of a push,
How
I
about
think.
Montreal?
Montreal, I think the problem with Montreal is that you're kind of hemmed into either doing the old baseball stadium, which is not aesthetically a pleasing venue, or you have to go back to doing an arena show.
They could do it. They could do it at Olympic Stadium.
I mean, they could, but
they could get close. They could get close to 100 in there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could.
The Olympic Stadium set up for baseball could seat 65, almost 70,000. How hard would it be for them to break the Dallas record if the seating was set up accordingly? Not very hard.
I mean, they could. I mean, I think if they're going to Canada, I think Toronto's always going to be the first destination, probably.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's that guy that holds the Vancouver for WrestleMania sign every year. It'd be nice to give him a bone. But if they don't go north, there are 2 options south that I think are worth exploring. One is Mexico City.
Mexico City, Azteca Stadium.
That would be the biggest WrestleMania ever. That stadium would trump.
That stadium alone seats 100 grand.
Yeah, that would trump
put another 25,000 in seats on the floor easily. Between 25 and 50,000 just on floor seating alone.
Yeah, Mexico City would be a very lucrative option, and the benefit to Mexico City is the same benefit that you have in Canada. You're still working in the same time zones as your American market.
Right, and the thing about it is too, but there might be one problem. They would want more lucha.
Well, you know what? You have this guy coming up from NXT that could be their next huge Latin superstar.
Ricochet.
No. Andrade Almas.
Andrade Almas. Yeah.
Who is from CMLL?
Yes, he's a big star from
La Sombra
scene. Yep. So he would definitely have a shot. And you also have, your cruiserweight division. You have guys like Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado.
Yeah.
They have some luchadors that have come up to the cruiserweight ranks, and so
Kalisto and Sin Cara too. That could be.
Yeah. So I think
Ray, if they ever get around to re-signing his ass.
Yeah, Mexico City could be an option. I think Rio de Janeiro could be a very intriguing option. There's a certain allure about Rio. And let's be completely honest, the corruption would allow for a lot of money to be exchanged.
Well, and remember, it's a net where, quote unquote, Pat Patterson won the Intercontinental title.
The greatest tournament in the history of tournaments from Rio.
162-man tournament. Which actually never happened.
How dare you besmirch the honor of Pat Patterson?
But we all know the truth.
I know it didn't happen, but it's fun to pretend.
Anyway, considering that you guys are talking about Andrade Almas, let me just put the train back with the whole.
I'm
sorry I went off the tracks as much as I did.
That's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. You just opened the door to let me vent what I have been holding in for weeks.
I shook my ass and I intoxicated you, and I just led you down the dark path. So,
and I appreciate it because it was something I wanted to say Thursday, but the opportunity never presented itself.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, pal.
Thank you for that.
And you're welcome. It's been on my mind too. So,
but I had a lot more tied to it if you think about it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
No complaints here. Anyway, Cien Almas.
I love this.
He's come a long way in a short time.
Yep. Absolutely love it. He's one of the best workers in the world.
I knew La Sombra was a great performer. Because I had seen him in CMLL as part of Los Ingobernables. A lot of people don't know that. La Sombra was the luchador de mascara, and the flag waver for Los Ingobernables.
Yeah.
He used to come down to the ring quite often with Rush, which God, WWE needs to sign. They need to sign Rush. You want someone that can get heat? Sign Rush.
Yeah.
That man gets so much heat in Mexico that people buy the $8 beers just to throw on him. Truth.
I definitely think that WWE really needs to be looking at expanding south. I think that's really where the money is going to be for them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andrade Cien Almas is going to open the door. I don't see any way that he fails on the main roster unless WWE just completely shits the bed with him.
Oh, of course.
He's just too talented.
This is going to be a bellwether for WWE's ability to bring more Mexican talent, while at the same time trying to avoid themselves into digging a deeper hole by signing Alberto Del Rio back again.
So Jesus Christ! Yeah. Please no.
Alberto De Pero.
Oh, please no.
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way. This is their litmus.
He belongs to the same family as Mil Mascaras, and they are one screwed up fucking family.
I mean, again, I say
language, folks.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll say this. This is going to be the litmus test to doing both of that. Elevate one Mexican wrestler to greatness while at the same time trying to escape from another Mexican wrestler's legacy. So there's that.
I see Andrade Cien Almas because he's on Smackdown if memory serves me correct.
He is on Smackdown.
Yes.
Alongside Zelina Vega. So
I see him in a match at SummerSlam with the current WWE champion. No, the current WWE champion.
Oh, okay.
AJ Styles, and AJ putting him over.
That's ambitious.
A hot take. That is a hot ass take.
Yeah, that's an ambitious run for Andrade. I think that I personally don't think they're going to go that quickly with him, but boy, that would be intriguing.
Why not? They went that quickly with him. Believe it or not, he was main event status inside of 4 months in NXT. Once he made his television debut, 4 months later, he was competing for the title.
Here's why I'm bullish. Here's why I'm bearish on it. I think that if it's all tied into Nakamura. Nakamura has gotten over this heel turn like gangbusters. And all he's had to do is utter a catchphrase and hit people in the testicles. But Nakamura is so hot right now. He is the most interesting he's been since he's been on the main roster. And I honestly believe that we could be on the precipice of seeing a Nakamura title win. If Nakamura wins the title, I think, Almas is going to be better served being in the Intercontinental title picture. You could use someone like Daniel Bryan to chase after him and let Nakamura get his run in before you go with Almas.
But okay, all right. On the SmackDown roster, who's worthy of taking it from? Who's worthy? Let's say they want to do it. Okay, let's say they do it at Survivor Series with Cien Almas. All right, hypothetical. Who is worthy enough to take it from Nakamura?
I'll give you one hot take. Samoa Joe.
I agree.
Yeah, but can you actually see Samoa Joe doing the favor for Almas?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, I could, yeah. I mean, because we're not talking about Almas. Almas is not a scrub. Almas is one of the best in-ring workers in the world.
Oh, he is.
So
he is. Even when he didn't have Zelina Vega, he was still great in the ring.
He was still good in the ring, just that he got shoved with a character that doesn't really show up a lot. He just needed another change in character, and this one is good.
And they did it perfect. They did it brilliantly.
Mm-hmm. Alongside adding him with a manager in Vega. So,
well, yeah. I mean, the way it started is that Selena Vega met him in the freaking parking lot and slapped the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, who is this broad?"
Wake up!
So, I absolutely think that Joe could be the guy. It ain't going to take much to turn Joe face anyway.
No, it didn't.
And that's kind of the interesting thing about SmackDown. Really, is they really will need another face to kind of even the odds out, because you've got Brian, who I don't think they're ever going to truly, be comfortable with in a top level role. No. And you've got AJ, but after that, on the heel side, you've got Joe, you've got Nakamura, you've got Orton. Looks like he's about to turn. You've got Big Cass coming into the picture. He'll be prominent. So you need someone else.
Big Cass is your next Intercontinental Champion.
I think Joe's winning the title personally. I think Joe's going to win it, and then the U.S. title's going back to Raw with Jinder. But
possible.
That's just my thought process on that.
Yeah.
But if Joe wins the Intercontinental title, then my plan of having Joe beat Nakamura for the title kind of goes out the wayside. So
yeah, that's true. Okay. So that would be Cien Almas. Moving up. Sanity. Well, Sanity as in, Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane, and Eric Young.
I'm going to let Taker start on this, because I know he is quite disappointed that we're lacking a certain member of Sanity coming up with them.
I'll raise the expectation, because I know that people were having fun with Nikki Cross teaming up with Kairi Sane. That was fun as shit. How Kairi Sane was scared of the unpredictable. What the hell am I facing?
It's tremendous. I'm a big Nikki Cross fan myself, and so it's unfortunate that she's not coming up to the main roster. I understand the reason why she's not coming up, though.
Agreed. I do too.
The need to have a veteran presence down in NXT for the host of new call-ups, or not call-ups, but new performers they have coming in.
Performers that they're coming, yeah.
Yeah, with Ember, they really... I wish they had left Ember down and brought Nikki up.
Actually, if it was me, I think, sure, take Nikki along with them. Let's start playing along with the women's division on NXT.
Nikki Cross is going to be Shayna's first feud.
I could possibly buy that.
I'll go on a 50-50 limb for that, because they're already going to go with Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. Make that a Mae Classic.
Well, that's going to be the big one, probably at Brooklyn.
Unless Candice LeRae really catches fire.
Yeah, unless Candice LeRae.
She's already got a small ember under her ass.
She's already going to catch fire, I think, in all sense and purposes. So yeah, they're going to rush on
because of Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if you're attached to Johnny Gargano, you've got as good a shot as anybody at getting over.
People seem to forget that the one person that you have to be scared most in that pair is actually Candice LeRae rather than Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Johnny is a nice guy.
Candice LeRae is a monster.
Candice is someone who has bled in PWG fighting men. Folks forget that.
Number one, and number two, she knows the way to people's stomachs. She's a certified baker. She can feed you a lot of
brownies
and baked goodness and make you all happy and content. Then she'll crush you.
Hot take.
What?
Candice is the reason that Cass has got a gut.
I don't know whether to be aroused or scared right now.
Scared. I'm gonna go with scared.
I don't know. Papa Biff has a dark side.
I'm gonna go with scared.
Come to the dark side. We have brownies over here.
See, brownies cooked specially by Candice LeRae. Oh, guaranteed to make us.
Special brownies, 420 type.
Sanity, I think it was a good call up. Sure, disappointed that Nikki Cross isn't really following, but I can understand what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that Nikki didn't come up after the matches she had, even though she lost 3 against Asuka. It's the matches she had, especially the last one she had, which was my match of the year last year for the Golden Bullet Awards.
Okay. Anyway, I think this is
the last woman standing match where at the end, and if people will watch that, it was a regular weekly show. Nikki Cross was laying on the ground laughing when it was over. Even though she lost, she was laughing.
I love it. But anyway, this is going to be one of the quickest.
16-foot ladder where Asuka suplexed her through the announce table.
Yeah, we know.
That was like, holy shit.
Anyway, this is going to be one of the quickest takes for a call-up that I will make. R-Truth. Don't care at all. Bye-bye. Next.
Oh, having R-Truth on, I kind of got a chuckle out of his. Oh, glad to see you. We're on Monday Night Raw. And he's like, no, it's Tuesday Smackdown. And they're like, and he did his famous like, oh, my bad, that's on me. And I busted out laughing.
But
how can you not laugh? How can you not laugh at that?
I did get a laugh. I see it. I see him as a comedic gimmick, but wherever he goes,
and you know what? At age 45, if that's all he's good for, hey, let him have it.
You need somebody to replace the Fashion Police.
Yeah,
and we're missing the most important part with R-Truth. He's from Charlotte.
Yes, he is.
I actually know where he's
to do one thing.
You probably know exactly where he lives.
I know I know exactly where he lives. I know exactly where he grew up. He grew up in Randall, North Carolina.
So, okay.
So you have a mad crush on him.
Moving on.
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
I think he's singing that just to avoid the fact that he might.
Well, there's no song called Boy Crush, god dang it. So I'm trying here.
We also have my favorite that has made the show.
Okay.
SmackDown.
Oh, I can guess who.
The goddess, the empress, my goddess and empress, Asuka.
It's an easy read.
Oh, yeah.
You know she's coming to SmackDown. After the whole matchup with Charlotte, you know she's going to come to us.
And you know what? I sense a heel turn coming Tuesday night.
I sense one coming. I don't know that it's going to happen right away, though. They might draw it out a little bit.
I see Asuka and Becky losing to the Iconics Tuesday, even though that's not what I want. Yes, Metal Matt. But I see Asuka losing her freaking mind and destroying Becky. Hence turning heel. Because they need some strength on the heel side on SmackDown. I'm sorry.
They have great heel characters.
They don't have strength.
That's one reason I wish they had brought Nikki Cross in with Sanity. Nikki Cross could have been that workhorse on the heel side.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with turning Asuka heel. Asuka can work both ways. Asuka is really kind of somewhere in the Brock Lesnar mold where she's really a tweener in the sense that she can beat the shit out of you and be a heel, but she's also popular enough with her charisma, that unspoken charisma that really makes her likable. Yeah, I think, and I know Matt, Full Metal, I'm sorry to say this. I know you hate this idea. I really think they're missing the boat. They need Becky as a heel.
I know, and he's like, he even said in the chat here, as long as it's not Becky turning heel,
I am the biggest Becky Lynch fan in the world. I don't publicize it as much as others do, but Becky is one of my favorites on the entire roster. I love Becky.
I think
I
I think you need
adore
to start. I think you need to start publicizing that as much.
her.
Just join
Well,
the
I've
metal
been
band
saying it for
bandwagon.
the last 10 months that Becky needs to turn heel.
Well, I'm looking at this from a purely pragmatic perspective. I want Becky Lynch to have as much success as possible. And the only way that she's going to shake off this malaise that she's in is by switching heel. If she switches heel, she is automatically the top heel on SmackDown.
Mhm.
Then you look at the people that she will be competing against. As long as you're wrestling against Charlotte, you're in a visible spot in that company. If you're wrestling against Asuka, you're in a visible spot in that company. Right now, Becky Lynch is at best your third highest babyface on the SmackDown side.
And a glorified jobber.
Maybe the fourth, depending on how you view Naomi.
And like I said, you heard what I said, right?
Here's
a
my
glorified jobber.
Here's my hot take on Naomi. Asuka and Charlotte and Becky Lynch there. Naomi can kiss her chances of getting SmackDown's title back again. Goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Naomi's going to get lost.
no, Naomi and Becky both. Naomi and Becky both are very, because, and this is kind of it's not unspoken. It's been publicized a lot, but one of the unfortunate, aspects of SmackDown right now under Road Dogg's creative watch, the women's division has gone downhill tremendously. He does not book the women's division very well. And I think that, we were fortunate that we got as good a build as we did with Asuka and Charlotte before WrestleMania. But if you take that storyline off
in which people, excuse me, people were asking, who's the face and who's the heel? Same thing they were doing with the Nakamura AJ Styles match. And I have to take a statement from one Tanya Rogers. How did it go? The IWC is always saying, don't tell me who to root for. But yet they were asking, the IWC was turning on asking us, well, who do I root for in these matches?
Yeah. I think honestly, the women's division on SmackDown in particular is a very polarized place, and it's not getting the kind of publicity. You like how I said publicity there? You can tell I'm thinking about the bars. It doesn't get the same press that other controversial subjects like Roman Reigns or the Raw main event scene does. But there is some severe polarization going on here. Charlotte is a very polarizing presence. There's a lot of people that like her and a lot that don't. Asuka, up until the streak being ended, she was a polarizing figure. A lot of people liked the streak, a lot didn't. And so you have, these serious arguments going on within the women's division, especially on the SmackDown side, of, who needs to go and do what. Does Charlotte need to be a heel?
No.
Does she need to stay as a face? I think she's working as a face, and you don't turn her back heel because that.
And the reason I say don't turn her heel is Charlotte has said this before, and it's no different. And Biff, you're gonna respect this when I say it. When Dale Sr. died in that accident at Daytona, a lot of the senior fans switched over to Junior.
Absolutely.
And what did they want him to be? They wanted him to be like his daddy.
Yep.
And that was one thing that Dale Jr. fought for many years. He kept saying, I am my own person. I race the way I race. And this is Charlotte's chance to get out from under the shadow of her dad. Her dad was known, Ric Flair, and I love Ric Flair, was known as the dirtiest player in the game. This is time. Charlotte wants to get out from under that and shine on her own.
She needs to be the
same exact thing that Dale Jr. wanted.
Yeah.
And when I say that to people, they're like, but Charlotte's better as a heel. Why? And I say, the reason why is her last name is goddamn Flair.
I think she's a better face than a heel. And that might be a hot take for some people, but I honestly believe she's better as a face.
I think she's doing fantastic as a face.
Yeah, because what Charlotte brings to the table is an athleticism and an agility that none of the other horsewomen have.
Exactly.
You know, we were in this discussion. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. We were in this discussion the other day in one of the nightly threads about the special traits that each of the horsewomen have. Because I really look at the revolution in WWE as being based around the horsewomen. I know that's not everybody holds to that. I personally think no horsewomen, no women's evolution. But you look at the four because they're judged against each other. Becky
which is a sad state.
Well, I understand it. It doesn't mean I like it, but I understand it at least. But you have the best heel of the bunch is Sasha Banks when she's playing her boss character. Bailey is probably the best ring general. Now, Bailey is the least athletic of the four, but in terms of her capacity to tell stories in the ring, I saw her carry Eva Marie and a green as turtle shit Nia Jax to great matches down in NXT. Bailey is the most versatile in terms of telling stories in the ring. Charlotte is the most athletic. She has the most agility. She can do the most amazing feat. Becky Lynch is probably the best pure in-ring worker of the four, I would say. She's got the most technical skill. Now, you have an athletic, agile, can do some amazing stuff in the ring in Charlotte Flair. That's who she is. She is a genetic freak, okay? You don't turn that. That's just not a heel.
No.
That you don't leave her heel for long. I mean, yes, she can play a heel, but as good as she is in the ring, that's just the kind of character that winds up being a face more often than not. Because you can't help but respect what she does. Charlotte Flair has only been in the business for what, 4 or 5 years now?
5
years.
Look at where she's come in 5 years. She's going to main event WrestleMania. She is going to main event WrestleMania. It may come as early as next year. But within the next 3, Charlotte Flair will be in the main event of a WrestleMania. That's astounding given how long she's been in the business. That kind of
and Biff, sorry to interrupt, Biff. It has nothing to do with her name.
No, she's that damn good.
Yes, she is. And until people realize that and understand that she wants to be her own, not because she's a legacy of Rick, just like Dale Jr. was not a legacy of Dale Sr., and he wanted to be his own.
Oh well, true.
And I will stick to that argument until I die.
Okay.
You know, Dale Jr. wanted to be his own man, just like Charlotte Flair wants to be her own. She's not a man. She wants to be her own woman and her own character away from her dad. And in one sense, I'm glad that Rick is not accompanying her to the ring anymore because she was always overshadowed by Rick. As much as I love Rick, Rick was a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Here's a man that came back from a broken back injury and from a freaking plane crash, people, and won the NWA title 16 times. 16 times, people. That says something about his character as a wrestler in general.
Yep. Anyway. So.
God, I hate going on hot takes, but anyway.
So, Asuka, good pick.
Yes.
Yes.
After all the and after all the tangents, Asuka, good pick.
I mean, Asuka Charlotte was a great match at WrestleMania.
That I will not deny.
Taker, let me put you on the hot seat one more time. Was that the greatest women's match in the history of WrestleMania?
Yes.
I agree.
I find hard to argue that, yeah.
because and I mean there are some great matches. There was Trish and Lita at a WrestleMania.
There was Trish and
there
Lita.
was Beth.
Well,
There
I mean,
was Beth Phoenix versus Trish Stratus at a WrestleMania.
yes.
Both of those matches, great matches. But the Charlotte Asuka tops them all.
Okay.
I would say the next closest match might be the triple threat from WrestleMania 32. And guess who that involved?
Becky, Bailey, and Sasha.
Charlotte has a thing about putting on some great matches at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that says she can't wrestle can kindly shut the fuck up. That's my take.
I think number one, it's WrestleMania, and number two, the women have a point to prove, and they always bring it. So there's that.
Yep.
Anyway, adding 2 people there: Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose.
Why?
Oof.
Bad news for SmackDown fans. Now they'll be subjected to Corey Graves' creepy soliloquies about how Rose is God's gift.
Why?
Upside though, Tuesday's show got the way better wishbone tug from the ostensible absolution for Riot Squad swap.
Yeah.
First of all, they need to eliminate the absolution angle because Paige is general manager of SmackDown.
Interesting to follow whether Paige offers her prodigies any preferential treatment now that she's SmackDown GM.
Well, she's also got the PCB problem too, as you stated in the pre-show there, MBS.
Yeah.
Well, PCB, they all feuded with each other. They broke up quite violently. So.
Because of Paige. So
yeah, Paige kind of broke off with them. So you're going to have to do a little hand waving if you're going to compare PCB and. I prefer to call them the sorority sisters just because it was the name of a porn site. I think
no, you got it wrong. Submission sorority.
Oh, same damn difference.
No,
and of course, you would know that, Doc. Really quick on the correction there, Doc. Tell us how you feel.
Because I'm a huge Paige fan and a huge Becky fan. Lesser huge Charlotte fan back then. So, but
I was going for the never mind.
Yes, I did it.
Never mind.
I shut people down. But hey, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Sure.
I love Sonya Deville. She has grown on me by leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's got a world of potential. I'm glad she's on SmackDown because she's got some of the best wrestlers in the world to compete against.
Yep.
So
this is going to be a great experiment for both of them in particular.
She might be my hidden gem of the entire the shakeup. Quite frankly.
Interesting. Okay.
Or maybe maybe a better way to put that is she might be the most underrated move of the shakeup. I think she could be a star, and I think this is going to be a coming out party for her.
Yeah, so. It could be. Of course, Mandy Rose obviously is going to be pushed to the moon if given her chance as well. So there's that as well. Even though Vince is not running SmackDown, he'll surely get his eyeballs there, considering his penchant for beautiful blonde women.
She just reminds me too much of Eva Marie. I can't take her seriously in the ring.
I can take her seriously in the ring. It's just she looks way better. She looks way better in ring than Eva Marie. I mean,
yes. You must be talking about Mandy Rose.
Yes.
And she does, I will agree, she does look better in the ring than... You know who I'm talking
A certain all read everything here.
Yes, I did. I never did like that character. The reason that they were trying to push her is because of her chest. She was unnatural and they were big.
Yeah, she was all natural. That is true. But anyway, I mean, let's move on to Taker's most favorite wrestler of all time.
That was a very nice segue there, pal. That was
Yep.
a very nice segue.
Let's move on to
storm. You can see the storm clouds moving in, and you shun them.
Well, Mandy's got has got big ones too, and they're all natural. But I digress.
Like I said, Taker's most favorite wrestler of them all. Let's hear it for Mike Mizanin.
You may want to get that checked out, pal. That didn't sound good.
Whenever I hear Miz's name, I puke.
I call Mike Mizanin.
I don't care.
Same person, okay.
Same person. But like I've said before, and I will say again, it is not the person I dislike.
It's the character. We know.
It's the character. But let me put it this way. Biff, I don't know if you have any children.
I do not.
Okay. Well, then I'm not sure you will understand. There is that nerve in your back that children can eventually hit that causes your leg to shake when they speak.
The vagus nerve?
Yes, it causes your legs to just sit there and start shaking the minute you hear their voice. The character, The Miz, does that to me. I do not use the word hate when it comes to The Miz. I use the word despise. Because hate is such a strong emotion. You know, I try not to hate anyone, which sometimes is difficult. But I despise the character The Miz. The man, Mike Mizanin, I have no problems with. It's the character that drives me absolutely insane.
I'm about to break your heart, Taker. I'm about to break your heart.
Oh, don't tell me you're a Miz fan.
I love The Miz.
Here's the people.
You are no longer allowed here. No.
no, I'll tell you why I like The Miz. And this is not, he's not my favorite. I'm not saying that. But here's why I like The Miz. The Miz, I have seen a progression from the character from the time he first arrived to the present. For years, I loathed The Miz. I loathed his existence. But as time progressed, and I think it is kind of interesting, when he started mimicking Daniel Bryan and started taking some of his moveset, he actually became a better worker by virtue of stealing from Daniel Bryan to troll him, which was great. But I'm looking at the character. And there is actually a character in The Miz. There's a story that has been building that, as a longtime fan, I appreciate the continuity that they've held with it. The Miz has never been a truly respected wrestler.
True.
But what The Miz said in that famous, quote-unquote pipe bomb interview on Talking Smack was true. The Miz has always done what the company asked him to do. The Miz has never really been injured for any considerable length of time. The Miz always shows up. He is the quintessential company man. And the fact that, he's one of the longest tenured male performers on the roster right now, he never has gotten that respect.
Behind someone.
Well, no, I'm not saying he is the longest. I'm just saying he's one of the veterans on the crew now.
He is. But he's behind someone who's been there 28 years.
Well,
let me put it this way. Let me ask you this question, Biff. What kind of respect do you think The Miz gets in the locker room over, let's say, someone like The Undertaker?
Oh, there's no The Undertaker, but that's not even a fair comparison. Nobody gets the respect The Undertaker gets. Not even John Cena is respected as much as The Undertaker.
No,
so, I mean,
oh yeah, that's true. Okay, let's put it this way then.
Because I brought something up on Thursday that I want to bring up here. We all talked about, Undertaker coming out and having that 2 minute squash match with John Cena. And I was like, okay, fine. They were knocking it. And I'm like, okay, fine. But what do you think happened in the locker room with Undertaker being there? Everybody tied their boots a little tighter and went out and worked just that little bit harder to try and get Taker's respect. which is part of the reason why I think this past Mania was as good as it was.
I'm going to drop a hot take. And I know we've gone off the rails from the shakeup, but I think this is an interesting time to kind of drop this little nugget. If we are looking at the Mount Rushmore of most important performers in WWE history,
Okay.
I'm going to give you my 4, and you can discuss at your leisure.
Sure.
You got to start with Bruno.
Yeah.
Because Bruno is, quite frankly, the guy.
Bruno was God.
He was the straw that stirred the drink. He is the foundation on which the company is built on.
I will agree with that.
Okay. Number 2, Andre the Giant. Because Andre, very much so, as they said in the recent documentary on HBO, he was really the transition into sports entertainment. But he was that first true international star
Yes.
for the company. Okay. Number 3, Hulk Hogan. You cannot dispute what Hogan did for the company in terms of, putting them on the national map. I think Hogan, if Bruno Sammartino is the foundation, Hogan is the walls, Andre is the roof. But my 4th most important performer, and this is going to shock a lot of people, it's not Austin, it's not Rock, it's not Bret Hart, it's not John Cena, it's The Undertaker. Undertaker is the soul of WWE.
Yes,
and he has been over 4 different generations now.
And I will agree with every one of them. And I'm going to expand on the last one that you put on the Mount Rushmore, is that during the Monday Night Wars, he was offered a contract by Bischoff to come to WCW. Granted, he was there at one point as Mean Mark Callis and was let go by Bischoff as somebody that would never make it. He went to WWE and took on a character that became an icon of the company and has lasted for almost 30 years as a character. Even though he modified it and changed it for a while with the biker ticket, which I never really got into. I always liked the dead man persona that he had.
Yeah, so did I.
He was the cornerstone when everybody was leaving. Hogan, Nash, Hall, Bret Hart was leaving. He stayed. Through all the injuries that he had, he worked. That man is, if I say, I have said this, Bruno Sammartino was God. The Undertaker is Jesus Christ. Correct me if I'm wrong, people.
I mean, just look at The Undertaker's tenure and all the contemporaries that he wrestled with. I mean, he came in at an era when Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage were still really in the driver's seat. He wrestled Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, Jake Roberts. And then he moved into the new generation, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, Yokozuna, Owen, Sid. He came into the Attitude Era with Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, Triple H, Kane. The Ruthless Aggression Era.
With John Cena.
John Cena and Brock. His war with Brock in 2002. And Batista. That great WrestleMania 23 match he had with Batista. That
When JBL said, "Oh my God, the darkness has fallen upon SmackDown.
Yeah.
Undertaker's a champion again."
Yeah, with Batista and Cena and Orton and Lesnar, and then into the PG era with Chris Jericho and Edge, and he had that match with Rey Mysterio that was so great, and
don't forget the match with Jeff Hardy in Chicago.
And Jeff Hardy, yes.
Don't forget that match when he was hardcore. I don't know if he was hard. I believe he was hardcore champion at that time.
It was like a hardcore ladder match, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was the biker taker then.
Yeah.
And Jeff Hardy stood up after Taker was at the top of the ramp on his bike and called him out on the microphone and said, Taker, I'm still standing.
Yep.
And then Taker walked back down to the ring and raised Hardy's hand. That was the ultimate showing of respect to Jeff Hardy.
Undertaker has made it through so many different eras. He's wrestled the best of each era. You know, he wrestled Cena, he wrestled Hogan, he wrestled Austin, he wrestled Rock, he wrestled Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, he wrestled Roman Reigns, he wrestled Brock Lesnar, he wrestled CM Punk. You know, I mean, pretty much if they were a huge Triple H, you know, if he wrestled, if there was a top star in WWE over the last 25, 30 years, there's a good chance that Undertaker has wrestled with them at some point.
Yes.
The only guy he didn't have a one-on-one with was Daniel Bryan, but he tagged with Daniel. So
that's a match I would love to see.
Well, yeah, you talk about
Daniel Bryan versus Taker.
That barring
That would be a work rate match, and I can tell you right now, as safe as Taker is in the ring, and he was always a very safe worker with others. And the style of Daniel Bryan, that could be a main event of any pay-per-view.
Bryan would definitely give him the best match of the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes, he would.
Easy. It would probably be his best match since the Hell in a Cell match with Triple H at WrestleMania 28.
Yes.
So I would love to see it. That would be a huge match.
Vince, if your spies are listening, book it.
Okay. Done with all that. I'm going to run the rest of them by virtue of just I'm running out of time.
Yeah,
Luke Gallows
we've been
and
at this
Carl
almost
Anderson.
3 hours now, but
Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Dig it.
they need some direction.
Yep.
They do. AJ Styles is back. AJ Styles is there.
I don't see them hooking up with Styles.
Who knows? By virtue,
They had a golden opportunity with Finn and blew it.
they had a golden opportunity with Styles and blew it again.
Yeah, but now you know what? It's going to say, what are they going to do with the merch that's Balor Club BCOG? What are they going to do with all that merch?
Of course, we just have to see, because they already did with the club thing with Styles and Good Brothers earlier on. We'll see what happens.
They need to do something.
Yeah, they need to do something. Okay, quick. The bar. Sheamus and Cesaro.
They're
going to lose. They're going to lose at Greatest Royal Rumble, and then they're going to get into a battle with the Bludgeon Brothers and get squashed.
Okay, I think it's a good pick. Of course.
What do you think of that?
On a long enough curve, I think the goal is to have a singles run for Cesaro.
Yeah,
and so whenever Sheamus is ready to hang it up,
because we know Sheamus is going to be hanging up soon because he got spinal stenosis.
Right. I honestly thought Sheamus was going to bow out after WrestleMania. So
if they're going to quietly shuffle Sheamus out from the picture, this is the time to do it. So they're going to just quietly shuffle him off, probably. So yeah.
And can I just say that the idea of Cesaro versus AJ Styles makes me erect?
Ooh. Well, yeah, Claudio Castagnoli versus AJ Styles. Yeah, that was a match. That was a match.
So. Wasn't that an ROH match back in the day?
Yep. I think it was not. I think it was not ROH. It was PWG or something like that.
Might have been.
Really
I mean, they might have wrestled on like a house show somewhere at some point, but
yeah. And okay, I think that's all of it. So who won? Who won?
My opinion.
Who won the whole? Mm-hmm.
In my personal opinion, SmackDown won. If Vince takes the interest leading up to SmackDown 1000 in October.
Yes. I think they won in general, but I think too the roster is in place to have a really special summer. So,
do we see SmackDown actually winning Survivor Series this fall in November with the current roster?
If it was on paper, yes. I don't put it past Vince to screw with everything, but on paper, they definitely have the stronger roster, almost every capacity. I don't think if you look at the three main divisions, the women's, the tag, and the men's single, I don't think there's a single division that Raw has that is superior to SmackDown's. I like SmackDown's main event talent better. I like their tag teams a hell of a lot better. And I think their women's division is deeper too. So
it is. I will say that the women's division on SmackDown is much stronger than it was going into Mania.
Yes.
Just for the simple fact that they've got Asuka alone. Asuka gives them more credibility. I could see Asuka destroying Carmella in the very near future for the title. But we also know now that Asuka can lose. Which
the happiest thoughts of having the
it wasn't my happy thoughts, but when the match ended, I actually looked at it and saw Asuka have a look of relief on her. That's like okay, that is over. Now I can be what I need to be.
It is a clean slate, so there's that.
Yep.
Anyway, so basically SmackDown won the whole.
Yeah. Most of the dead weight from SmackDown was moved to Raw. It's their problem now to figure out how to book it.
There is a lot of problem to figure out how to book it. But this is the time where I say I am so happy that I am not a part of creative.
Yeah.
You and me both.
That's they've got a lot of work they're going to have to do to get everything fleshed out.
Hell, I love armchair quarterbacking as much as the next person, but I am so glad that I am not in their position to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Biff, you got problems trying to fantasy book Raw right now.
Well, I mean, considering I equated it to SmackDown taking the crap on their lawn, emptying the septic tank out, that's the problem.
The septic tank got clogged.
I'm going to tell you, I wrote a fan article about this yesterday, and I'll espouse it again here. The problem that I had with the shakeup this year is that Raw benefits from keeping the talent that they did keep. Like having Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins on your show, it makes your show better. But from an individual perspective, on a case-by-case basis, Strowman, Rollins, and Balor each could have used a move because they're stuck behind Roman right now. So the talents suffer, but the shows are better. And I think vice versa on SmackDown. I think that Joe may suffer because he had, more opportunities on Raw since they are so deficient in heels. But SmackDown is so much better because look at what Joe brings to the table. So it's like it's a weird dichotomy between what's best for the performers and what's best for the brand.
Yeah.
And I think in this particular era, we're getting, what we all kind of assumed was the case. It's the brand that's important. It's not so much the individual anymore. And so I think that was a unique kind of byproduct of this shakeup. We really kind of had all the cards laid out on the table in that way.
Yep.
Well, the thing I said early on, and you didn't, I don't know if you heard this or not. Vince right now probably wants SmackDown to be strong for the simple fact that the SmackDown 1000 is coming up in October. Their 1000th episode is coming up in October.
Mm.
Don't you think that he wants this brand, the blue brand, to be a little bit stronger than Raw? Just like he wanted Raw stronger than SmackDown going into Raw 25?
I think that plays a role in it. I think that there's an even more important reason that we can't forget too, and that's the simple fact that WWE is about to enter into negotiations with Fox about these television rights. And what do you want?
Well, they still got what, 2 years to go?
Well, next year's the last year of the contract. So next September they'll have their new network deal in place. But they can start negotiating as soon as May. And I think that, the way they loaded up WrestleMania 34 on paper, I think the fact that they're equalizing the rosters out, because let's be 100% clear here. SmackDown was the weaker of the two shows on paper coming out of the draft. Now, SmackDown had the better show because they had a less is more mentality. But after the first shakeup, SmackDown again got really hammered with the loss of talent. This is the first time since the brand extension began where SmackDown's roster has been equal to, if not better than Raw's from the outset. I think that this has done as much to equalize the two shows out and try to keep SmackDown's ratings up as it is getting it tuned up for the October show. Because you want the ratings as high as possible, because that gives you more power when it comes to TV negotiations, especially since we don't know where UFC is going. If UFC winds up re-signing with Fox,
UFC is part of NBC Universal.
Has that been officially announced?
Yes, it has.
Then WWE is in the catbird seat. WWE, the more lucrative they can make themselves look, the richer they're going to be.
The thing about it though, with the Fox deal, is the possibility of Raw going back to 2 hours.
That's worth it for me, personally.
Yeah, because 3 hours is just too much.
I already argued months ago. 3 hours is a long time for me to keep my retention focus on a show for a sustained amount of time. That's too long.
Shit. I don't know about you, Biff, but I know myself. 1 hour of WWA or AWA on one channel in Chicago, and 1 hour or 90 minutes on another on Saturday. So I would have basically 2.5 hours on a Saturday and maybe an hour on Sunday. So I would have 3.5 hours in a weekend was enough for me to want to go to the house show on Friday or Saturday night in my local area.
Yeah. I think that the way they've structured it, you have Raw at 3 hours, which is just too damn much. You have NXT at an hour a week, which is almost not enough. So you want to follow.
As far as I'm concerned, NXT needs 90 minutes.
Yeah, 90 minutes to 2 hours is the sweet spot where you want to fall. Yep. SmackDown at 2 hours is
right on the border.
It's right on the border of where you need to be. Yep. You have a 2 hour television show and a 2.5 hour to 3 hour pay-per-view. That's right where you want to be. Now, the bad thing about this, and you don't strangle me when I say this, I don't think that Raw sheds its third hour even if it goes to Fox. And here's why. They will do the 8 to 10 block on the Fox network. But I bet you money that somewhere along the line there's conversations about having a third hour on FS1.
Possible.
I think
but then again, that limits access to some.
Well, it does, but they're going to have SmackDown on FS1 anyway. That's one of the reasons they're going to move to Fox, is Fox needs the content for their new sports channels because they still own the sports channels.
Yep.
So SmackDown is going to be on FS1. There's no getting around that. Fox can't afford to
Well,
put.
I have access to FS1, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have to pay extra for it either.
Haha.
Well, that's the way it's going to work. I mean, it's FS1 is getting SmackDown, so or FS2 one, whatever. There's just no way around that. But Fox is looking at this from content. WWE provides weekly content year round. That's very attractive, considering the ratings they pull.
Okay, something from the chat room, from the chat on this podcast. Someone brought Dennis Cowell brought up, what about Joe versus Cass?
It could work. It could work.
I see Joe going to be someone that puts him out again. Kayfabe.
Again.
With a knee injury.
We'll just have to see.
If we're talking about, their quality in the ring, Joe eats Cass for breakfast.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. He eats Big Cass and he shits Empire State Building trunks.
Yeah, because I mean there's no let me put it this way. There is Joe has been around and been involved in professional wrestling for what, 20 years?
There and thereabouts. There and thereabouts.
And Cass can't hold a candle to Joe's ass. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a big ass.
If they book it any other way than Joe killing Big Cass, it's a travesty. Just my opinion.
Well, having said that, Joe is going to do the JOB for Big Cass like 3 straight weeks. So,
of course,
just to piss you off, there, pal.
Of course.
God, they don't know how to book right.
They need to hire us. I swear to God, we could have that show turned around.
Christ, we could make WWE millions of dollars if you and I booked shit. Because we would turn the whole WWE roster upside down.
There are certain days where I wish I could switch bodies with Vince just for a week. I would have that ship just running so smooth, so quick.
And
it would be
reason
ridiculous.
Is this. We would use sense.
Common fucking sense.
There's wait a minute. Common sense is a oxymoron. Because if sense was so common, everybody would have it. And they don't.
Well, we are living in the idiocracy right now, so.
That's true. Okay, but in any ways, with that, I think we can end this.
Doc's like, abort, get the hell out of here.
Because I think you should keep it for your upcoming show, which is going to be more fun to talk about when you guys plug this in. So go.
Yeah.
Go plug this in, you two.
Well,
so
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. What are your
shows?
Yeah. You already said that. You already said the title of your show, Wrestling Connoisseurs. Have you set your time?
Yeah, those are going to be pre-recorded.
Oh, okay. So when is the show going to drop?
Well, we are planning to record Monday. We were planning to record last Monday, but Mr. Biff
had a prior engagement that he can't.
No, Mr. Biff was ill.
Yeah, 8 hours of podcasting plus a cold destroyed my voice that previous Saturday, and I never quite got it back until this week.
Okay, so if you guys are pre-recording it, when are you dropping it?
Some point Monday evening, probably.
Monday.
Because we're going to record Monday, as far as I know.
Yeah, so it's stay tuned. Basically, that's what I can tell you for now. Stay tuned. It's coming this week. So
as soon as we know exactly what day is dropping, it will be posted everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, KHI Seats.
Yeah, I can promise you this though: the Connoisseurs of Wrestling is going to be a very different show from anything you've heard in the past.
Yes, it is. It's not going to be about current.
Yeah,
it's going to be about teaching Would you say teaching history?
Probably, yeah. I think you can definitely say that.
I think Biff would agree it's going to be about teaching history of wrestling.
Teaching a respect for the business and all its richness, I think. Just showing people that wrestling was just as good in 1980 as it is in 2018.
Yeah.
Hell, we'll be showing people that as good as 1960 to 1970 as it is now.
Agreed.
Maybe even back then it's better than it is now.
Yeah, and my goal, if I can turn somebody on to Billy Robinson or Jack Briscoe or Wahoo McDaniel, then I've done my job. So
that's true.
Or Baron Von Raschke or Cowboy Bob Ellis or
Pepper Gomez or
Pepper Gomez.
Nick Bockwinkel.
Now we're throwing names out there that people are going, who the
Jimmy
fuck is
Valiant.
that?
Jimmy Valiant, probably.
Jimmy Valiant, Jerry Valiant.
Blonde Bombers from Memphis or from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many good Blonde Bombers teams we could talk about. So
don't forget Bombs Away, Ray the Crippler Stevens.
Ray Stevens, of course, yeah.
Ray Stevens, Dick the Bruiser. You go into the Carolinas, Johnny Valentine. There's just so many different names that we could bring up. And
Jesus, we got many history lessons for folks.
Yep, I've got my cigar ready. You're going to enjoy a nice cigar while we're recording. It's going to be a great blast. So.
Sure, okay.
Well, we're called the connoisseurs of wrestling, for Christ's sake. We got to have a cigar there somewhere, or a nice glass of wine.
I have the Chairman's Reserve Lonsdale waiting for the first show.
There we go.
You know about those, don't you?
It's a little bit out of my price range right now. I'm kind of broke.
I worked in a tobacco shop. I had the tobacco shop I worked in, believe it or not, had one of the very first runs of the H. Upman Chairman Reserves.
Oof.
And let me tell you something. They are some of the smoothest shit you will ever have.
We're not talking about gas station cigars here, folks. We're talking
We're talking premium cigars that cost the Lonsdale alone, and I will say this, the Lonsdale alone in 1998 cost $12.75 per
cigar.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
The general would approve of the selection. That's all I'll say. You know exactly who I'm talking about, too.
Yes, we are. Gino, we love you.
If he's listening. Anywho, Taker, where can they catch you?
Excuse me.
With that note, Biff, where can they catch you?
Yeah, I'll just slide right in here. As always, you can catch us 4 p.m. Thursday afternoons, Eastern Time, the Queen City Express. Myself and Ryan Sayo, we do our business and we do it well. It's the podcast you didn't know you need. So be sure to check us out Thursdays. You can also check me out Saturday evenings, midnight, the last call. We'll fly solo on those episodes. Got a WrestleMania trivia contest still going on last week to enter this week, so check it out, midnight.
What was the question for that? Put it on here.
The last question for the contest, you asking for the commentators for the Hulk Hogan Iron Sheik Championship match at Madison Square Garden in 1984. Mm-hmm. There were 2 commentators at ringside commentating the match. You give the 2 correct answers to Biff Kensington 2018 at gmail.com. Make sure you supply your name, obviously, and you're entered into the contest. That's all you have to do. Got a WrestleMania prize pack, souvenirs from New Orleans. They were purchased at the Superdome, totaling about $50. So got a nice poster.
What all is the prize package? Please tell us.
Got a nice souvenir cup, never drank out of. It was purchased for the contest. Got a nice little WrestleMania cap, commemorative program. Also going to throw in a poster. Bought 2 posters. So got a poster. It's got all the matches that took place on the card. The program itself has some great information on the Hall of Fame. Nice souvenir cup, about 20 to 22 ounce cup. It's a big cup. And got a nice little snapback hat for you too. So it's a nice little haul. Got 10 people that are entered in right now as it stands. So definitely get your in. Biff Kensington 2018 gmail.com is how to enter. All you need is one answer, one correct answer, and you're in. So that is the trivia contest.
Twitter? Do you have Twitter? Do you have other ways to be contacted?
Well, the only way to enter the contest is via email
No.
because I don't want people.
Other ways to be contacted.
Yeah. I'm on Twitter at Real Deal Biff, DILL, like the pickle. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Cage Side Seats. In about 5 hours, I'll be at Beantown Tavern in Charlotte. So, ladies, come on out. Have yourself a Biff. A whiff of Biff tonight at Beantown Tavern.
Damn it, boy.
And I'll drop the Ben Hammer right now. Taker, your plug before I.
As always, you can find me here on Shootin' the Breeze.
Yep.
Every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern,
10
p.m. Central, unless we have one of the big four specials, the breakfast specials, which start an hour earlier.
Yep.
You can also find me on Twitter at TakersMinion.
Yep.
And as always, you can find me in the threads on Cage Side Seats, either the daily or the nightly.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly lately, the nightly, because of my work schedule, working third shift. Plus, it seems that the nightly is dying around 1:30, 1:45 Central Time. We need more bodies to stay longer. Damn it.
That's my fault. I've been an old fogey. I've been going to bed too soon. So
that's your problem, not mine.
Alrighty then. Okay.
Love you, Biff. Love you.
That's what you say.
Well, someone hasn't appeared in the nightly in 2.5 months there, MDS.
I am going to segue. You can catch me on Twitter, Mr. Dr. Senju, MRDR Senju, not the Mr. Dr. Senju, because some bitch took that already somehow, some way. God damn it. You can also catch me on Shootin' the Breeze at Twitter, official Twitter, SHOOTIN, BREEZ1. Again, because some bitch already took Shootin' the Breeze.
If I ever find that bitch, I'm going to shoot him.
Of course. And then you can also catch me on KHI Seats on the daily as well as the nightly if I make an appearance.
Yeah, so, if you make an appearance. You haven't made an appearance on daily in what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
He's fashionably late.
And you haven't made an appearance on nightly in a month.
It's shrunk to about a lot of proportions on the daily 3 weeks, the nightly 2 months. I did make an appearance on the nightly, I think.
He's just fashionably late.
I can't remember the last time you showed up on a nightly, you bitch. But I digress.
Because he didn't remember. He didn't remember that I need to plug in all the Cage Side Seats affiliated podcasts and also the LIJ affiliated podcasts. Some of them some of them are just our friends that I like to plug.
Not LIJ. Get it right, damn it.
I am going to be.
Godfather has spoken, damn it.
I'm going to be sued by both Los Ingobernables de Japan and also the Godfather of LIP.
You monster.
I don't care. If it means I'm going to talk to Hiromu Takahashi 1 second before he kicks my face in, that's going to be good.
Well, you know what? I might send
Here's the state of Mexico.
What?
I might send to your door.
Anyway, unaffiliated podcast. We have Two Guys, One Sport with crazy Chris Colgan and George Curtin's Joker at Sabes. Thank you so much for the shout outs. Fizzy Swacky Wildo Wrestling with William Fitzpatrick, 14 Fitzpatrick, of course. He's going to do an irregular amount of shows. We'll just have to see when he pops in with another pod. Making their return, Violent Wrestling Podcast with Amber Rosali and Prince Mackley Lopez. Hopefully they can hash out another date so that they can bring it back again. Of course, we have Match Fixing with Don Sal on Cedar Bridge Media, of course. Wednesday Night Shooting with Tanya Rogers and Andrew Swift. Again, we already have, he already has promoted, but we'll promote it as well. Queen City Express with Biff Kensington and Ryan Sayo.
A member of LAP.
Yep, okay.
Damn Skippy.
Damn Skippy. Of course, we have also Ringside Geeks and For the Love of Wrestling. Both are run by Miss Monroe and her boyfriend, as well as a couple of other friends of theirs. Then we have the MLW affiliated podcast, Something to Wrestle, featuring Conrad Thompson and Bruce Pritchard, and What Happened When with Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone. Catch them as well. We also have the Cage Side Seats affiliated podcast with Better Boys Club, Not Your Demographic, Keeping Up with the Kayfabe, and Bros Before Elbows. But this has been episode 40 of Shooting the Breeze.
Yeah, we've reached middle age.
We reached middle age. It's gonna be glorious if we reach the mid 50s.
And the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast too from Metal Matt, which I always have to bring up at the end there.
Yes, Ruthless Aggression and Violent Wrestling Podcast is about to make its triumphant return,
which I already said,
because Mox has had some personal stuff to deal with. Our hearts go out to him.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed today, guys. I didn't find a way to work in orgasm.
You already did.
You just did.
You already did.
It's a stiff job. I had to make a mess. So.
Yeah, as long as Dennis doesn't cream in his jeans, we were fine.
Please not make him cream in his jeans. Somehow
NBC,
he's going to be.
Here we come.
Dateline DC, sure. Anyway, this has been Shooting the Breeze, episode 40. I'm Shook Up. I am Mr. Dr. Senju. That over there is TakersMinion. That over there going to go out the door is Biff Kensington. See you next week.
It's been fun. Episode 40 is done. See you guys.
441.
I like turtles.
Bye.